Okay, we're live. I think we're live. It is 1:23. And it's third day of May. We're in the month of May now, 2026. So congratulations to being in the month of May. Let's see here. We got Paul in here. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. Paula's in here. We got Paula. We got Becky's in here. Good to see Becky. Good to see Paula. There's Mustang. Good to see Mustang. Like I said, it's good to see everybody. JP's in here. Good to see JP. Always good to see JP. Feel free to throw your chat in here, buddy, your channel. Dewey Ox is in here. Good to see Dewey Ox. We got Heather's in here. There's Heather right there. Always good to see Heather. Hope Heather's well. We got, let's see, I'm pretty sure I saw Dino in here somewhere. Let's see here. Mino Dino, there he is right there. We got Dino in here. Good to see Mino Dino. Let me get rid of this here. All right, then we got Nicole's in here. There's Nicole right there. Always good to see Nicole. And that's enough for now. Good news. I think we just hit. I'm pretty sure we just hit 400 subscribers. Nope, back down to 399. But we're at 400 for a while, so that's the good news. But anyways, it's good to see everybody. Hope everybody's well. Let's see, there's Becky right there. It's good to see Becky. Always good to see Becky in here. I'm gonna have to remind Miranda's in here. Where's Miranda? Miranda's in here. Good to see Miranda. I haven't seen Miranda in a while. Where's Miranda? Well, if Miranda's in here, good to see Miranda. Let's see here. There's Miranda right there. Good to see Miranda. Hope you're feeling well. It's always good to see you. I hope to see Gretchen in here. I hope Gretchen's doing well too. And if Gretchen is in here, and if she still has the GoFundMe, let me know because she can throw it in here. Yes, I've missed you too, Miranda. I hope you're well. All right. And thanks to Mustang for putting everybody's chat in here. All right, so we're going to go over a few things this week. We're going to go over, obviously, the true crime of the week, the news, all of that stuff, the missing persons case of the week. There's a couple of cold cases going on here. But let me play an intro. It's always good to see everybody. Back at 400 now. Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. If only I cared about that stuff, but it is good to see that 400, right? Like, it's been that way for a few weeks. But anyways, I'm going to play my intro, and then I'll be back shortly, right after the intro. Then we'll get into things. Like I said, it's good to see everybody. Hope everybody's well. I'll be right back. Okay, so here we go. Like I said, it's always good to see everybody. Thanks, buddy. Always good to see Dino in here. I hope Dino's well. There's Gretchen right there. Good to see Gretchen. Unindicted co-conspirators in here, right there. There's we're hold on a second here. Right there. There's unindicted co-conspirator right there. Always good to see unindicted. Almost late for the Church of Vol. Never late. Good to see Gretchen. Though, like I said, Gretchen, if you want to throw your GoFundMe in the chat, go right ahead. But anyways, I do want to play one thing. Hold on one second. I want to do this here first because this was the weirdest thing. I don't know if you guys have seen this before tonight, but I'm going to play this. Hold on one second here. All right. So this happened to me. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but hold on a second here. Let me play this. Thank you, Mustang, for putting that channel in here, Unindicted Co-Conspirators channel in here. Hold on a second here, right here. So this happened to me. When was this now? Was this Sunday night? This might have been Sunday night, whenever the 27th was. But I was out working here in a town called Goshen, New Hampshire. And this must have just happened. This had to have just happened because anyways, this is a car fire. And this when I took this video here, this was probably about 15 minutes into when I actually came upon this car fire here. And I'm way back now. I don't know, probably about 300-400 yards from this whole thing. But I was at one point, my car was kind of like right up in here, and then the fire wasn't this bad when I had first gotten here, but the car was still engulfed. But I was pretty close. I was trying to see if there was anybody in the car. But anyways, when I looked down, there was oil. You can see the glare here. There's oil all over the street here. And apparently he must have, whoever's car this was must have lost control of the car and rolled or whatever, because there's all kinds of debris and shit all over the road in here. And this was right when I took this video, this was right after I heard that bang. So it must have been a gas pocket or something that kind of exploded in this car. But I'm going to play this here. This was really freaky. This is in the middle of nowhere. And I must have been the first person on the scene because nobody had called 911 or anything. So I was the one that called 911. But thankfully, I think there was nobody in the car.
Okay, so I am here at work, actually in Goshen, and I just came upon a car fire in the middle of the road, and I just heard, I don't know if there's anybody in the car. I just got off the phone with dispatch 911. It doesn't look good. The car is completely on fire, completely engulfed in a fire. I just heard what sounded like a...
So there's this is Gretchen's GoFundMe page here. I can't believe you're still in a hotel. That's ridiculous. Am I frozen? How did I get frozen? Yeah, this is quite weird. This was such a weird. Let me know if I'm still frozen. But anyways, so Gretchen is still in a hotel, so that's her GoFundMe page. What did I do with it? Hold on a second here. I lost it now. Right here. So that's a GoFundMe page here. All right, so let's get back to this. Hold on one second here. You're not frozen? Okay, thank you. Yeah, this was terrible. All right, here we go. And I think this was like a 30-second video or something, because this was right before everybody got there. In fact, if you watch my this glare on you'll see the blue lights coming here. But there was like two cops that flew right by me, and they basically ran right over to the vehicle to try to see if they could get anybody out of there. But this was terrible.
Probably the gas going off here. I'm going to stay here until the cops and emergency crews get here. but this obviously was some sort of a rollover or accident or something.
You can see this like right in front of the car here. There's like this glare on the street here. That's all oil or gas or whatever that is. This car was totaled. It must have rolled up on this embankment or something and then came down here because it was facing, how my car is facing going this way here. And then before I got here, there was another car that was driving away from me. So I told the cops that I don't know how he could have gotten through here. So I wonder if that car had anything to do with this, but and you're going to see like blue lights on my dashboard here. That's the cops. And I had to stop recording because I wanted to get the hell out of here because, once the cops get there, I was pretty much going to be trapped in here and I couldn't let that happen.
But here comes the cops, so I'm going to have to get out of here. I'll try to give you an update later.
So you saw the blue lights there. So anyways, that was my night, Sunday night. It was pretty bad. The funny thing is there's nothing reported. It wasn't in the newspaper. There was no accident. There was no. It was just the most bizarre situation here. I've been fighting an infection for about a month now. What kind of an infection? All right. So dentists are not cheap. No, they're not. Nobody's cheap these days. Did the person driving the car? I have no idea. I've been trying to find that out. I know the cop that was there called me back to see if I had any description of the car that I saw that was coming the other way, but I didn't. So I don't know. What did I do? Okay, I don't know. Hold on a second here. It's Leader Joe's in here. Good to see Leader Joe. All right. So, anyways, that was that. That was a terrible thing. But I don't think anybody was in the car. So I hope the person's all right, but who knows? You never know. All right, so let's go here. We're going to start off here with this here tonight. Good to see Leader Joe in the chat. Hope Leader Joe's well. It steals my energy and makes me moody like a little girl. I hope you're okay, buddy. All right, so let me get rid of my face. That's first. And then we're going to go here. We talked about this last week, so I'm going to continue here with this incident down there in Florida. So let's hold on a second here. Duck and Felonies is here. Felt like I was waiting forever for your show to start today. Sorry about that. In my experience, little girls are less moody than most men. That's a dead ringer right there, man. I will be when they remove my face. If you're dealing with teeth pain, there's nothing like teeth pain, man. An ancient Chinese secret: if you're having teeth pain, don't drink because it makes it worse. All right, so here we go. We were covering this last week, and I know they found the one victim, and then they were looking for the second victim. So we'll kind of chronologically go through this. So, anyways. This is the missing USF student. The body has not been yet identified, according to Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. The Pinellas County Medical Examiner is now investigating this whole thing. Remember, we covered this last week. These two students were missing. So here we go. Whoops.
Sheriff's Office tells us they have recovered a body in Pinellas County after an extensive search. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay This Weekend. I'm Miranda Parnell. Right now, you're looking at video from just a few hours ago as crews sifted through mangroves near the Howard Franklin Bridge for hours as a part of this recovery effort. Officials tell us they discovered the remains after searching in the waterways of this area right by 4th Street North. just south of the Howard Franklin Bridge in Pinellas County. This search happening near the same area where investigators found the remains of one of the missing University of South Florida students earlier this week. That happened on the Howard Franklin Bridge. 10 Tampa Bay News reporter Annie Krall was on scene as investigators collected evidence, searching with helicopters, boats, and on foot.
A very active scene as Marine units with Hillsborough and Pinellas County Sheriff's offices took to Tampa Bay. A boat speeding by with investigators aboard away from a brush area deputies continued to comb over. Hillsborough County deputies saying they found human remains from the waterways near I-275 and 4th Street North. This is the water where investigators were searching for multiple hours on Sunday afternoon. It's also the same area near the Howard Franklin Bridge where one of the USF students' bodies was found on Friday. A heavy investigative presence, including a body bag being taken into this thick brush by the medical examiner and evidence bags being taken out, not far from where the USF student Zamil Lamone's body was found on the Howard Franklin Bridge. He was a close friend of Nahida Brishti, the other USF student who authorities have also been searching for since mid-April. Both Lamone and Brishti were last seen on April 16th, USF police say. Lamone was a doctoral student pursuing a degree in geography, environmental science, and policy. Brishti is also a doctoral student.
You guys remember this case? We were covering this last week. Let's see here.
Studying chemical engineering. After finding Lamone's body, authorities arrested his roommate. 26-year-old Hisham Aborgabi is now facing multiple charges.
It proves that anything can happen anywhere, you know? You never know what's going to happen.
An unusual and disheartening scene for drivers passing by.
This amount of cops, kind of yes. Oh yeah, and we're not used to having this kind of trouble, especially here. This area of St. Pete is supposed to be very calm, and yeah, we're surprised.
Annie Krall, 10 Tampa Bay News.
And we have reached out to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office for more details. We have yet to hear back, but authorities are.
So this one was done April 26th. So this just kind of leading up to the latest that I'm gonna play in a couple seconds here, but I think they got both bodies now. I think they got both of the roommates.
Are asking that anyone with more information on Brishti's whereabouts contact the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office at the number that's on your screen. That is 813-247-8200.
All right, so let's let me get out of this here. Hold on one second here. I want to play this one here. So this is the Tracy's here. Where's Tracy? There's Tracy right there. I don't know what they are. I think they're Indian descent. Not sure. Check your spice rack for cloves. Chew on one or dip a finger tip into ground cloves and place it over the affected tooth. The only thing that I know, because I've had more teeth pain than probably anybody in history. The only thing that I know that works really good with teeth pain is salt water. That's about it. But I would listen to Tracy. Tracy pretty much knows everything. All right, so hold on a second. I want to play this one here. This is going to be the latest on this case here. This is going to be from Law and Crime here. So let's check this one out here. So this was done a day ago. The body of the second University of South Florida doctoral student has been found. So they found the second one. Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister announced that the DNA from Nahida Bristi's match remains found by two kayakers on Sunday, April 26th. Hashim, I'm not even going to pronounce that, is charged with first-degree murder and other crimes in the death of Bristi and fellow student Zamil Lamone. All right, so here's this. I was trying to figure out whether or not I wanted to play the press conference or not, but I'm just going to play this here because it'll probably have it in this. So this was done one day ago in this here.
University of South Florida students.
Today, I'm able to confidently stand in front of you and tell all of you that we have located Nahida Bristi. We have contacted her family.
Now the sheriff is giving us an inside look into the investigation and the horrifying details they've uncovered so far.
This morning, I'll be sharing information that needs to come with a strong warning. The details of this investigation are gruesome, and the actions of the suspect are nothing short of pure evil.
And what happens next as one of the victim's roommates sits in a jail cell charged with murder?
I have no idea what happened in this whole thing here, but obviously this guy here had some sort of a beef with these two roommates of his. This is just weird. This is a weird situation here.
I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix. There's a case out of Florida that is
teeth pain is the worst. Back pain can be pretty bad too, but teeth pain is something that you just wish somebody would just kill you when you have teeth pain. It's that bad. And like I said, salt water is probably, you got to do it a lot though. You got to salt water like every 5 or 10 minutes, and that usually seems to. I have all kinds of stuff for it depending on the pain. That's the thing with teeth pain though. Sometimes the drugs they give you don't work. So you have to, when you go to the dentist, you have to make sure you ask for the strongest pain relievers you can get. Like just salt water is very effective. Yeah, salt water works the best for me. I got my mom's brain gene and her crap teeth. Yeah, I've had, you name it, I've had it when it comes to teeth pain. And like I said, the worst thing you can do is drink because it makes it worse. Like it might help for like an hour or two, but and then they tell you not to drink or smoke or drink coffee. I mean, like, kill me now. If I can't smoke or drink coffee, I might as well die. Ibuprofen helps fight the inflammation. Yes, ibuprofen will help, but what you really need is an antibiotic. All right, so let's get back to this. Sorry.
Unbelievable. It's really shocking and devastating. 2 PhD students from another country, they came to South Florida to study for school. 27-year-old Zamil Lamone and his girlfriend, Nahida Bristi, were studying at the University of South Florida. They were both from Bangladesh. Nahida was working on a PhD in chemical engineering, and Zamil was studying environmental policy and engineering. Sadly, we now know that both Zamil and Nahida are the victims of homicide, and someone they trusted is accused of murdering them. His name, Hisham Abu Garbia. He was a former USF student and Zamil's roommate, and he was the last person known to be with Zamil and Nahida before they disappeared. Now we're learning new details from the Hillsborough County Sheriff, who addressed the public on Friday, including how Nahida Bristi's body was found and what questions still remain as the community tries to wrap their heads around this unbelievable tragedy. We're going to get into those details here shortly, but let's give you a little bit of background onto how this all started. The case began on April 17th when the University of South Florida Police Department was notified that 27-year-old Nahida Bristi was missing. Her disappearance was described as very unusual since she was known as a very responsible person who never missed important events. The following day, April 18th, a friend of 27-year-old Zamil Lamone.
Yeah, sometimes the antibiotics don't work. Like I remember I had an abscess tooth, and they gave me one antibiotic, and that didn't do anything. So I had to go back, and they had to, and then they always say, "Oops," like that's why I'm saying you have to. When you go, you have to ask for whatever they got that's the strongest, because teeth pain, man. It's unlike anything else. Like I said, it's always good to see Tracy in here. Tracy is amazing. Quad is right there, and Heather's up here somewhere. Heather's amazing too. Saltwater, yep. So that's what I do. I just fight over the woman. Is that what that is? You think? Is that what this is? I don't know a lot about this case, but it's been on my feed, and I know that they were out searching in a boat at some point this week. So they must have found the other person.
Contacted police because he was not answering any phone calls, which was also out of the norm for a person who was also considered.
Oh, by the way, Somebody had posted something in a live a couple weeks ago about a case, and I completely forgot to cover the case last week. So if anybody knows what that person's name is, the case that they were talking about, let me know, because I do want to look into that. I forget who it was. It might have been, I forget now.
Considered very responsible. Investigators later learned the two students, who were both from Bangladesh, as I mentioned, knew each other, and that ignited a collaborative effort to find them. Here's what Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Cronister said happened next.
So our detectives believe that the first stop should be back at our second victim's residence. So we go to Zamil's residence, and where he lives with two roommates. One roommate continues to be elusive. The stories are inconsistent, almost to the point where he will talk about anything, loves to talk about himself. And this continues and carries throughout the entire investigation, except when we want to talk about either one of our two victims. Then he immediately starts becoming elusive and deceptive. The other roommate, we learn very quickly that he wasn't involved, begins to become extremely cooperative. And at that point, he, at the initial stages, when this is still a missing persons case, notifies us that something's wrong.
As police look around the residence shared by
I mean, regardless, because I'm really not here for the clicks and views and stuff like that, but regardless, I want to give a shout out to everybody who's contributed over the past few years that I've been doing this shit here. You guys are all awesome. I appreciate all the support. To think that I have that many subscribers is amazing. That's just great. GoFundMe was being an ass, but apparently cussing the site works. Sometimes. I always said nothing beats a good sledgehammer. Always have one right by your side, especially when you're doing car work.
Zamil, Hisham, and another roommate, there's a few things that really stand out, and this is where the investigation starts to take a different turn.
The doormat by the door's missing. There's some pots and pans missing. So our detectives, as hard charging as they are, their first stop is the dumpster. They learned that the trash compactor in the complex hasn't been emptied yet in these couple days. This is where we get the first break in our case. We go out there dumpster diving. These detectives getting inside of the dumpster and empty the entire contents. And they find Zamil's glasses, his student ID, his wallet, and his clothes, which are extremely bloodied at the time. Again, this is
right. I mean, who? Obviously, this person who did this is not known. Melissa, that's her. Thank you, Quad. Melissa Beeson, MMIW. No further info. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. I'm gonna try to fit that in later on tonight. Thank you, Tracy. See, this is why we like Tracy. Tracy is amazing. Yes, unindicted co-conspirator is awesome. Need some, maybe be better, nice ones. All right, sorry. Here we go.
Where we get our first break. This is where, during this timeline, this missing persons becomes a missing person endangered case.
During the initial search, there were theories floating around that Zamil and Nahida were married and they ran away together. But after detectives found Zamil's belongings, they realized that those theories were far from the truth, and investigators were now in a critical race against time to find the couple.
At the time, we believe that our now suspect was at just a point of interest. We needed more information. So we have enough evidence to get a search warrant. We go back to the residence and we serve the search warrant. And the search warrants for the residence, for the roommates, both roommates' phones, for their person, and for their cars. They go into the residence And we have some amazing technology, one of it being Blue Star that identifies the presence of blood. And when they deploy Blue Star, they can see in the kitchen area, there's a large pool of blood. They see that the blood continues down the hallway and into our suspect's bedroom. The technology is so precise and finite that we can see the outline of a human being on the floor next to our suspect's bed where he was curled up in a fetal position.
Now, this is where police start to take a really good look at Zamil's roommate, Hisham Abu Garabia, who, according to the sheriff, was elusive and deceptive from the beginning. And now there's a
think this is just really strange here. Apparently 3 is a crowd.
blood trail from the kitchen to his bedroom. What else they find is shocking.
We then examine his phone. His entire history had been wiped clean. No text messages, no emails.
They should have like how they used to do in old times, where they used to have like this like a video thing behind this guy here with like a red flag. It's like just popping up every time he mentioned something, like, and his phone was wiped clean, red flag.
No GPS data. His search history totally cleared. So it takes us a little bit of time at that point because we have to do a forensic deep dive onto the phone. And what we found by doing a forensic deep dive is,
listen to this. This is amazing. Like, that's the thing when you're like a true crime person. Like, if they went through my computer, man, I'd be arrested. But listen to this shit. Listen to what he had on his phone.
is where we found a lot of disturbing searches. He searches for, can a knife penetrate a skull? Can a neighbor hear a gunshot? Can you properly...
Red flag. Red flag. Hold on a second. I got my own sound effects here. Hold on a second. Wait a minute now. Oh, here we go. All right, here we go. Another one.
Can you bury a body in a trash bag and throw it in a dumpster? While he's conducting these searches, we also see and discover that he's making purchases.
Dino's out of here already. All right, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for everything. Dino, we got to get him a new phone cord or something. But always good to see Dino in here. I know people have other things to do in life. Always good to see Dino here. Thanks a lot, buddy. Here we go.
Purchases for large, heavy-duty black contractor bags, Lysol,
Bing, 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 bing.
wipes, duct tape, lighter fluid, a lighter. As he's ordering some of the items from Amazon, some of them come from DoorDash. I wanted everyone in the room to think about this. These searches were conducted days before our 2 victims went missing. This was calculated.
Dom's here. Good to see Dom. Dom is in the house. Ding, ding, round 1. Yeah, absolutely. You have women to dream about. Careful there, buddy. I don't even think I dream anymore. I don't remember. I don't think I do. Always good to see Dom in here. Dom's a great guy. All right. Have a good week, Dino.
This is what makes this so premeditated.
A digital footprint allegedly pointing to a premeditated attack on these 2 students. But the evidence, according to police, doesn't stop with the online activity.
We then look at him. He's got a laceration to his left pinky, and on the back of his left tricep, he has a deep laceration where he should have been properly sutured. He should have went and got stitches. He was unable to explain where he got those.
Yeah, I feel absolutely horrible for Gretchen. That's got to be. Oh my God. How long has it been now? It's got to be like 55 days, almost 2 months. Oh, that's got to be terrible. Vicarious Vigilante is in here. That's Peggy O, right? That's I'm pretty sure that's Peggy O. That's Vicarious Vigilante right there. Good to see Vicarious in here, Nicole. I felt like I'm drowning tonight. Are you doing all right, Tom? Always good to see Peggy O in here for sure. Feel free to throw your chat in here too. Peggy O's awesome. All right, let's go back to this here. Yeah, it'll be 2 months on the 10th. Oh, that's gotta suck. Was diagnosed with emphysema and lots of fluid tonight. Oh God. How did that happen? Thank you, Mustang, for that. Diagnosed with emphysema and lots of fluid tonight. What are they going to try to take that out? You think?
Where he got those, what we believe is defensive wounds. At that point, we turned to the car. In the trunk, very little blood.
If I had to stay in a hotel for 2 months, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd make it. I hope it's a decent hotel, anyways, because my luck, I'd be in a hotel room where like everybody on the planet that stays up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning banging pots and pans would be. No, I have to deal with it. Really? Is that the prone position? You're supposed to sleep in the prone position or something like that. Sleep face down if you can, and when you're up, sit up and keep a fan on. It helps breathing. Yeah, I mean anything that can help you breathe is good. I'd quit smoking. I'm not a doctor. I don't think.
On the floorboard of the passenger side of his vehicle, again, deploying Blue Star technology, we see a large amount of blood there. We later find out that that's Nishida's blood. That comes back.
Oh my God, I feel so bad for Gretchen. That's absolutely horrible. You don't have any relatives that you can go stay with? I mean, that would probably suck too. Just keep I don't know, do you have any idea of when you're going to be able to get back to a house or home or whatever? That's going to suck. Like I said, it's good to see Vicarious Vigilante here. I hope you don't mind if I'm just going to call you Peggy O. The old man has it too. He is rattling, coughing. That's going to suck. I hope things get better for you, Gretchen, for sure.
Comes back to her. The GPS in the car, once again, wiped totally clean.
So now police say they have blood.
So we're just going over this case here, the case of the USF double murder case here down in Florida, and I believe they got both bodies now. So now they've charged the other roommate with their unaliving. So that's what we're doing here.
Evidence belonging to both Zamil and Nahida. So the next question is, where are they? And what are the chances that they're even still alive?
While we're conducting this forensic deep dive on his phone to see where he had been days prior, we're able to determine that he had traveled over to...
You have 4 cats. Yeah, that's going to be tough. But there are places out there. I don't know if you can get in touch with any pet sitters. I don't know. That wouldn't happen here. I would love living a nice hotel maid service, ordering food, but I'm old. Yeah, me too. I'll tell you, that gets old. That stuff. They tore out some stuff in our house, but no, we are waiting for a report from the engineer. That sucks. Did you have insurance? Because you could probably talk to your adjuster to maybe uh I don't know. I just hope things get better for you. That's all. Um that's gotta suck.
Clearwater, the Sand Key area. We confirmed that by looking at a video surveillance from a nearby fire station that shows him get out of the car. And he's around the Sand Key area over in Clearwater. He spends a short amount of time there. Then as we're examining the longitude and latitude coordinates, we see he goes on the Howard Franklin Bridge and he stops there.
So just hold on a second. I'm gonna give people a tour of where the hell we are here. When we were young, when I was younger, our house caught on fire, so had the luxury of, this was years and years ago, back in the 70s. Actually, I think it was the 80s. No, it was the 70s. So we got to stay in a hotel for like 3 months until the house got redone. And for us, the kids, it was great. It was awesome. But for the parents, it's not so great. So here's the University of Florida here. This is where all this is kind of happening here. I believe this is Hillsborough County, so this is part of Tampa. Let me back out a little bit here. Let's see here. I'm assuming they have a ton of, this is Tampa here. I'm assuming they have a ton of like video camera footage here. This is all a college here. So I've been here before. I've been down. Bush's Gardens is right there. Yep. So this is I'm pretty sure they have a ton of you never know though. All right, so let's go back. Hold on a second here. Let's get out of this here. Sorry, but I just wanted to give people an idea of where the hell we were. All right, here we go.
There for a short amount of time. So at this point, we make the decision to launch a surge full of manpower to go out and start an extensive search.
Despite police claiming the suspect's car GPS was wiped clean, his phone tracking data tipped investigators off to the Howard Franklin Bridge in Tampa, about 17 miles from the University of South Florida's campus. And that is where they make their first horrifying discovery.
As some of our detectives are examining the latitude and longitude of some of where he had been, they're traveling northbound on the Howard.
You would think by now that people would figure out that if you have your phone on you and you're going to commit a murder, that's probably not a good idea. But, people still do it. I'm telling you, people are not intelligent, man.
Howard Franklin Bridge on the Pinellas side of the bridge. And they see a large black trash bag sitting on the shoulder of the road all by itself. They stop. They walk up, and as they're approaching it, they immediately smell that unique smell of human remains when it's in that decomposition phase. They go up, they physically feel the outside of it, and realize that there's human remains there. They stop what they're doing, knowing that this could be evidence. We're in Pinellas County at this point, and they contact the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, who immediately responds, along with the Pinellas County Medical Examiner's Office, who takes custody of this bag and goes back. We learned during this.
This is just sad. These two kids, going to college it just sucks. It's terrible. Just
that it is our victim, Zamil. We're able to determine that because he's in the early stages of decomposition. So we knew it was him through.
So apparently they found him first, and they were looking for her for, I don't know, about a week, I think. Both of them, I think, were age 27, and they were both were going to the University of South Florida.
fingerprints that were obtained through the Department of Homeland Security when he had entered the country. When I talk about gruesome, he had been stabbed several times, which ultimately was the cause of his death. He was bound in front at his hands and at his ankles. His legs up towards his buttocks area was almost completely severed, so he could be bent together and make it easier to place in a trash bag. He was left on the side of the road as gruesome.
Where's Peggy? Hold on a second here. I got an ozone generator and used it after seriously cleaning the bedroom. It really helped. Seemed to help his breathing. Still out here, just played pool with Alex. I hope you all contact your state departments to get health and housing benefits you already paid for with your taxes. Don't forget, it's there and you have deserved the help. Thank you, Ducking Felonies. It's always good to see Ducking in here for sure. See here. One thing you can do is have a doc give you something that shows you need your animal for right. It helps people get help and not be turned around. Exactly. You know, with everybody that these days here that love animals, it's amazing how people don't allow pets. It's so weird. But I think it's people who ruin it for everybody else. We have 6 cats. We have 2 dogs, 6 cats. And if you came in here, you'd never know it. I mean, let's see here. It said it would help us, but with that, but my husband used to think it won't help. It might help. I just hope things go better for you. It's got to be painful.
As this murder was, he was literally left on the side of the highway like a piece of trash.
The body of Zamil Limon was discovered on April 24th, 6 days after he was reported missing. Remember, the suspect is not in custody at this point, but police get a disturbing tip, prompting them to respond to the suspect's family home.
We get a phone call from our suspect's family that the night before he had battered and committed a domestic violence against them. He had been acting erratic. He got out of the shower with only a towel wrapped around him. He approaches his sister and begins to almost in like a humping fashion, trying to grind on his sister. And at one point tries to kiss his sister. His sister has difficulty trying to push him away, and she is not able to freely leave that confrontation because he's able to overpower her. He batters the family at the same time. So we try to make contact with him. We know he's inside the residence. The family tells us, and we have him under constant surveillance. We know he's there. He refuses to answer the phone. He refuses to come out. We make the decision based on the violent nature that we know this individual is capable of. At the same time, we learn that a few days prior, he had purchased a firearm from a pawn shop. Now, later on, we determined that he never picked up that firearm, but we didn't know that. We didn't have that information at the time. Again, very dynamic, very fluid. So we activate our SWAT team and negotiators to try to bring this to a peaceful resolution. After several hours of trying to make contact, we're at the point where we made a determination we're going to go in and physically remove him.
Good God, put some clothes on, man. He's just wearing a towel. He's just wearing a towel. Oh, let's hope that towel stays on. Oh,
him under arrest. Right about that point, as you guys have seen the video and are watching the video now, he surrenders peacefully and he's placed under arrest without incident. At that time, we begin conferring with the state attorney who has been there since moment one, walking through this. And we're able to charge him with a bunch of charges that at that point, later on, charge him ultimately with the 2 premeditated murders of our 2 victims.
I was really having a hard time with that. That's guys coming out of the house in a towel. Hard to hide a weapon clad only in a towel. I know what the fuck. I would have been like, hey, come on out, but wait a minute, put some damn clothes on first. Um,
Police now have the suspect in custody, but their investigation, it's far from over because Nahida Bristi, she's still missing. 2 days later, a crucial phone call comes in.
2 recreational kayakers are out again on the Pinellas County side. And while this is occurring,
I would kind of, I don't know if I was watching this live or not, but I watched them searching for her.
the deputies and Marine unit are doing a great job trying to determine the tide and when they're occurring and what the tide patterns are to see, hey, how far of a search pattern do we need? The divers are still in the water. As you guys were out there covering, it was a long several days as we were trying to locate our 2 victims, especially now knowing that we have 1 victim, the other one should still be.
Yeah, no, all guys should have to put clothes on.
In the nearby area. As one of our kayakers is fishing, his fishing line snags on a bag. He has to go further into the mangroves. He smells something as he describes as undescribable. And when he went and got close,
how can somebody do this to another human being? I mean, oh, unbelievable.
to remove his fishing line, he sees that a plastic bag has been opened. There's been salt water in there. He can't tell what it is, but it looks like a human body. So he does the right thing and contacts law enforcement. We immediately relocate over there, contact the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office Marine Unit that's already out there with us, the Pinellas County Medical Examiner, Pinellas County.
You couldn't have been there too long because, I mean, even there in that water, it's surprising that I don't know how many body parts they found or how her body was, but I mean, there's a lot of critters around there that would scavenge that for sure. I would think it's April, right? So
Forensic Science Department who came out and took custody.
While investigators are suspecting this is Nahida Bristi's body, there's a forensic roadblock that delays the identification, leaving the community on edge for nearly 5 days.
Unfortunately, because of the conditions that her body was left in, it was more in those advanced stages of decomposition.
I honestly don't know a ton about this case, but yeah.
Decomposition, and we weren't able to just do a fingerprint. So that's what took longer. Today, I'm able to confidently stand in front of you and tell all of you that we have located Nahida.
So this was the second victim, same age, 27. Just a waste of human life. This is just absolutely incredible. Just, obviously the good news, this guy wasn't the smartest person in the world. And again, of course, everybody's presumed innocent until guilty, but at least they found the bodies. That's the good news.
Bristi, we have contacted her family. We are now actively working to release both bodies for religious reasons back to the families who live in Bangladesh. We were able to determine that this was Nahida. Unfortunately, couldn't do it because of fingerprints, but we did.
So these 2 people are no longer here for whatever freaking reason. It just sucks. It's terrible.
Did it because of DNA. We were able to confirm DNA, some dental work that she had.
Hold on a second. The suspect's name, Hashim Abergabia. I'll try to put that in the comments. Abugharbieh. So however you pronounce that is the suspect. He's being charged with first-degree murder and other crimes in the death of Bristy, a fellow student. So they're probably going to charge him with both, I would think.
Done, and the clothing that she still had on from the video that we saw the April 16th when the University of South Florida Police Department narrowed down was the last time that she was observed on campus.
Officials now confirm that both Zamil Limon and Nahida Bristy's remains have been found, but according to the sheriff, the investigation is far from over. They need to find a possible motive. Why would this suspect take the lives of these two PhD students?
We believe and feel that they were together and that they were murdered in nearby proximity and around the same time frame. Yes, our suspects in custody, the victims are on their way being returned to their families, but there's a lot of investigation that still continues and has continued to this point. A lot of deep dive records, a lot of subpoenas that we're waiting for answers for.
I mean, how do you deal with that as a parent? Now you got to wait for your child's remains. I mean, I know they're 27, but they're still your children technically. I mean, how do you prepare yourself for that? You got to wait because these remains have to be flown, or I don't know, to that's got to suck.
That may result in additional charges forthcoming. You search for the truth. And second to that is you search for the why. And I hope we find that out.
The suspect faces several charges, including 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder with a weapon, unlawfully holding or moving a dead human body in unapproved conditions, intent to conceal, tampering with evidence, false imprisonment, and battery. And he could face the death penalty if convicted. That is, if prosecutors decide to pursue the death penalty in this case. Another interesting piece of information from the sheriff, the 26-year-old defendant had a criminal record.
He does have a criminal history that we provided to you, a domestic against his brother. And at some point in a separate complex, he had entered an apartment that wasn't his. And when they caught him inside the apartment, he pushed one of the maintenance workers down, and that was a charge. It's criminal history.
The defendant is being held without bond in jail.
Reaper. This guy, not good.
Pending trial. According to a report by News Channel 8, the state attorney said he will likely face a grand jury by Thursday, May 7th. And we will keep an eye on this case for
the 30-hour flight, right? That's just that's a long time. That's and I'm pretty sure you don't want that plane to hurry up, right? Like it's Bangladesh, I think. I think the families live in Bangladesh, so that's over there. It's all right. So I'll keep an eye on that. And then we'll move on to something else. Just sad. I just wanted to give everybody an update on this case here. All right. So let me move on to this case out of Arizona here. Was the destination hell? Probably. Yeah, he probably uses the mental health as a defense for sure. All right, so hold on a second here. I do want to go to this case here, only because I like this reporter here, and not just because of that. All right, so there's a lot of new cases that are coming out here the last few weeks for sure. I'm going to play this one, and then I'm going to play this one here. And then we'll get into the Sandra Birchmore case because that's been in the news again. So family members of Arizona girls who disappeared decades ago are sharing their stories after a recent break in cold case renewed the hope for answers. So let's play this here. Hold on a second. This was done a day ago.
Decades ago are sharing their stories tonight after a recent break in a cold case is renewing their hope for long-awaited answers.
Last month, an Arizona woman who went missing more than 30 years ago when she was a teenager was found alive. Molly McBride's here in studio. So much time going by, and to still be alive, it's just a wild story, Molly.
It really is. Yeah, 30 years. Now, this is Christina Marie Plant. She went missing in 1994 from Star Valley, Arizona, and was found alive early last month. But Christina is just one of an untold number of young Arizona girls who went missing in the 90s. And tonight, we're hearing from some of their families who aren't giving up on their own searches for answers. It was a crisp January evening in 1999. In one moment, 11-year-old Mikkel Biggs was riding her bike in her Mason neighborhood.
She was standing on the pedals of the bike. You know, the sun is kind of setting. It's that golden hour.
Kimber Biggs said this is her last memory of her older sister, Mikkel.
Her blonde hair is like blowing behind her. She was smiling, like just pure bliss.
Kimber was only 9 years old. She says she went in.
Let's see here. Shay's in here. Good to see Shay. Always good to see Shay. Where Shay's right there. Hold on a second here. Right there. I got it up already. Good to see you. I'm just going over a couple of cold cases here. Right now, we just went over the USF cases here. Look at this poor kid. This is just this stuff is. I'll try to pull this information up. Hold on a second here. Let me back this up a second here so I can get the name again. Hold on a second.
Her blonde hair is like blowing behind her. She was smiling, like just pure bliss.
Kimber was only 9 years old. She says she went inside for just a moment. When she returned, Mikkel had vanished.
I just remember walking in and telling my mom, we can't find Mikkel. And
What?
And her face just kind of went pale.
Now she's lived 27 years with no answers.
If she has passed, I want to know how she passed. I want to know where her body is. And if she is alive, I need to know where she's been this whole time.
Mikkel isn't the only Arizona girl who vanished in the 90s.
Literally, she was there and then gone.
Samantha Kanyas has a similar story about her older cousin, 17-year-old Stephanie Benton. She says Stephanie.
All right, hold on a second here. I should do this before. Right there. Haven't we done anything? We've done something on her, haven't we? I think this is the one. Hold on a second here. How did I tell someone exactly? Thank you, Mustang. Mustang is awesome. She's putting all these great channels in here. If you guys have channels, feel free to throw them in the chat. Never late. So just good to see you. Sorry I'm late. I thought I was going to sleep. Not good to see everyone. It's always good to see you too. Sorry you can't sleep. All right, hold on a second here. I want to what the hell am I doing? Stop sharing this here. Sorry, I didn't get the name of the first person here, but I'll double back on that here. So this is the person they're talking about here, Stephanie Lynn Benton, missing since 1995. 3/13/1995, Bullhead City, Arizona, endangered, missing female. I thought we did something on this person here. Female, white, date of birth. I don't know when this was done, so she'd be around 48. 17 years old, 5'5", 125 pounds. Blonde hair, hazel eyes. Stephanie has a discoloration in one of her thighs, a scar on her knee and a scar on her ankle. She has tattoos of a cross with radiating lines on one of her buttocks. And a dot tattooed between her right thumb and forefinger. Stephanie travels from her family's residence in Kingham, Arizona to Bullhead City, Arizona with a female friend. On March 13, 1995, the two women became separated at a park in Bullhead City. Stephanie disappeared. She was last seen at approximately 2 a.m. in the morning, and has never been seen or heard from again. Stephanie's family member said she failed to retrieve a paycheck before her disappearance. She was also looking forward to her boyfriend's release. I thought I did something on this. This is very similar to a case I did earlier. She was looking to her boyfriend's release from prison, which occurred 6 months after she went missing. All right, so let's hold on a second. Let's go back to this. This case sounds very familiar. You did. I remember her. I thought so. Anyways, sorry. Let's go here. All right. So let's do this here.
Stephanie vanished from a Bullhead City park in 1995.
We don't know why, and we don't know where she is. So it's just an open chapter that's never going to be closed or even close to finished.
Just last month, investigators found Christina Marie Plant after she was missing for more than 30 years.
Finding a missing person after that amount of time is akin to like a comet passing the Earth.
Stuart Summershoe is a retired Phoenix police missing persons detective. He says solving a cold case is extremely challenging. The cases often lack physical evidence, meaning detectives must rely on witnesses to come forward.
So working these cases means you're going to do a lot of interviews.
With each case comes a family desperate for answers.
They're dealing with a limbo that none of us would want to exist in.
Somebody knows what happened to Mikkel Biggs and Stephanie Benton, and their loved ones say they won't stop looking until their families get the answers they deserve.
It's forever going to be that dark spot on my heart.
Just say it. It's been 30 years. Like, you can't go on life with a secret like that. It takes a special twisted person if you're just going to live with that for the rest of your life.
Both Stephanie and Mikkel's cases are open, and detectives are asking anybody with information to come forward. I have the best point of contact for both detectives under this web story at azfamily.com. In the studio, Molly McBride for Arizona's Family.
So that's weird. I don't know how much information 1901 cold case in Arizona could uncover more victims. Let's do this here. Did we do this yet? No. This is the problem, guys, because there's just so many freaking cases going on. I do want to do this one first. Right here. Same one, same case. Okay, so I do know about this one here. DNA leads to break in a 1991 murder case in a California mother. Authorities in California say advancements in DNA testing have led to the arrest of a man in Arizona in connection with the 1991 disappearance of Cindy Wanner. The mother disappeared more than 3 decades ago from her sister's home, leaving her 11-month-old baby behind. Elise Sylvia, the spokesman for the Placer County Sheriff's Office, joins the nation. So this is breaking. In this case here, did we do this last week? No, I don't think so. Here we go.
We are here today to announce a significant development in a decades-old murder investigation. It's one of Placer County's most well-known cold cases, the murder of a mother, her 11-month-old baby left crying in a high chair. It's remained unsolved until now.
More than 3 decades after a 35-year-old mother vanished without a trace, a chilling cold case in Northern California finally broke open. Back in 1991, Cindy Wanner disappeared from her sister's home in Granite Bay, leaving behind her 11-month-old baby alone in a high chair. 3 weeks later, her body was found miles away, and in a disturbing twist, investigators say they believe she had been kept alive for some time before she was found dead. Now authorities say advanced DNA technology has led them to a suspect. Here he is, James Lawhead Jr., who was arrested in Arizona after allegedly living under a different identity for years. Investigators call this one of the most notorious cases in the county and say this breakthrough could have implications far beyond just this case. Joining us now is the Placer County Sheriff's Office spokesperson, Elise Soviar, to bring us.
It used to creep my parents out when I was younger before they finally took me to a doctor who sent me to a shrink, but shrinks were pretty good back then and didn't drug people first. Right. narcoleptic. I'm used to not sleeping. I've been a diagnosed true insomniac since I was 12. It's a strange thing. Have you tried melatonin? I swear by melatonin, especially the gummies. I used to get an average of 3 to 4 hours, but in 1 or 2 hour increments. I also used to sleepwalk when I was 7 or 8. Once they found me under the kitchen sink feeding the chickens. Oh my God, you poor thing.
More on this huge break in the case. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
This is a huge victory for your team. It is such a sad and tragic case. And I know that your team of investigators have been working so hard on this for years and checking and rechecking DNA evidence and case files. What was the turning point and the moment that your team realized this 34-year-old case could finally be solved?
In this case, we were really down to our last piece of evidence to check. Several different items have been sent off over the years and unfortunately had not yielded any results. And as DNA technology, as you mentioned, has continued to improve over the years, the team decided it was worth a shot. With this last piece of evidence, they felt like technology was in a place that it was worth sending this off and seeing if it could potentially lead to the individual responsible. And sure enough, with the help of the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office Crime Lab, we got a direct DNA match.
That is incredible. And I always say, a hat tip to the investigators and detectives who work the cases long, decades ago, that are able to hold on to it and preserve it in the way that you guys are able to test it today. And I also understand that facial recognition technology was at play here too. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, there was some facial recognition that was used by actually somebody at the Scottsdale Police Department. That
You're absolutely fine, Shay. I'm always off topic, so join the club. It's got to suck to be to not get a lot of sleep, but I swear by melatonin. Like I said, I went through my own kind of insomnia a few years ago, but I'm pretty sure you've tried that already. So I hope you feel better. This guy here is a piece of crap here. So this 2026 arrest, kidnapping and murder, Placer County Sheriff's Office. So here we go.
Helped with that with cross-checking some Department of Transportation records, and our investigators had sent out information, pictures of James Lawhead, because that's who the DNA match was with. So we knew who we were looking for. We just couldn't find him or any record of him since 2005. He just vanished. So that's what really led investigators to believe that he had assumed a new identity. Mm-hmm. So in sending off that image, asking for help from other law enforcement agencies, that person at the Scottsdale Police Department was able to use that facial recognition and found a picture of James Lawhead and connected it with the identity that he had assumed, which led us to exactly where he was at.
Wow. And that was in Arizona, right?
That was in Arizona. Yeah, he was found in Bullhead City, Arizona.
Okay. I mean, that is incredible. And I also understand that you have about 40 homicide cold cases and 40 unidentified remains cases. And as we've been talking about, technology is catching up to help solve other cold cases in the country. Do you have certain cases that you feel like you could be close to solving with this new technology in your county?
Yeah, in 2023, we created a cold case unit specifically to go through these cold cases, to take the time to really look and see what evidence exists in these different cases, whether it's unidentified remains, as you mentioned, or unsolved homicides. Mm-hmm. So this team continues to comb through all of those cases, check and see what type of evidence exists. And if there are pieces of evidence that have not been sent off for testing, or even if they were sent off for testing 10 years ago, the technology has come a long way in that time. It could be worth checking again. Specifically when it comes to the genealogy sequencing, we no longer need just a direct DNA match. We're able to do the genealogy and kind of do the ancestry tree building.
Right. I mean, it is so amazing. And as we continue to look at the picture of the victim we're talking about here, Cindy.
It's the way your metabolism is in. You are used to it. I've been like this my whole life. I do sleep more now that. Well, I'm glad you sleep more. Sleep is important.
Warner, who was cleaning her sister's house to earn a little extra money. This is a nice area of the Sacramento area, and I know that she vanished out of that house with her little child in the high chair. I still can't believe.
It's so I feel like obviously it's not happening enough, but it is happening enough where some of these families are starting to find some answers, that probably wouldn't have found answers if it wasn't for, better science, better technologies, better investigations. So, it's always good to hear stuff like this when this happens. I don't know.
I remember when this happened because I lived in Sacramento. I grew up there. This was definitely a very tragic case that many of us followed. And I do want to touch on the significance that the suspect had just been released from prison months before his crime. It was within a year. And that psychiatrist.
It's like you can almost psychic this stuff, right? You can always do this. Like it's somebody's just been released from prison and they do another crime. It's just so. That's got to really tear at you if you're one of these victims' families. This guy probably should have never been let out of prison. You hear it all the time. It happens all the time.
I heard for the state of California had said at the time that Lawhead was classified as mentally disordered sex offender, yet he was released early. And then this happened to Cindy. What are investigators saying about?
Well, I'm definitely glad you're here, Shay. Always good to see you. Always good to see everybody in here. Late or not.
About that now.
Yeah, it's frustrating. That
I'm always late to my own stream, if you can believe that. And I try every single night to get here on time. It's just every week I'm late. It's amazing.
It's somebody who was already serving time for a really heinous crime that was committed in Sacramento County, and was sentenced to 19 years, shouldn't have even been out at the time that this crime was committed. And he had really.
This is going to be a big slap in the face to the victim's family, man. This guy should never have been let out of prison. Just what the hell?
Only been out for less than a year, just a matter of months. And I think it does raise questions about the criminal justice system.
Look at this. Unbelievable. Just over and over and over again. You can't rejuvenate these people, man. I'm telling you right now. Just can't do it.
And it also raises questions about the mental status of many of these sex offenders who do commit really heinous.
And I know that quote right there, I can't get anywhere on time. That gets worse when you get older right there. I just can't. I'm going to show up to my own funeral late, telling you right now. It's just the older you get. I think it's probably because the less you care, right? The older you I used to be so bad. I used to be so good at being on time. I used to get mad at other people for not being on time. And now I can't get mad at people for being on time anymore because I'm never on time. So, yeah, that's a good thing. I know you probably already addressed it, but do you have any update on the burning car? Oh, the one that I posted? No. In fact, it's so strange that you mentioned that because I've been looking all week. Me and my wife have been looking all week to try to find a police report or an accident report or something. Yeah. No, nothing. There's been absolutely nothing reported on that car fire. It's so weird. I'm not even going to mine now. Yeah. It's funny shit, man. But it's always good to see you, Shay, for sure. Good to see everybody. Is Heather okay? Is Heather in here still? All right, here we go.
Acts. Yeah. And also, the last time we had you on the show, before I let you go, I've got to ask you about that other cold case I had you on to talk about of the elementary school teacher, Sherilyn Hockley, who was found inside of her van near her school down the road after a Halloween party at school. Also, decades old case, another terrible story. I know that these two you don't believe are connected, but is your team hopeful you're getting close on that case? Because that's a story that we've been following as well here on Investigation Nation.
Yeah, the same team that solved the Cindy Warner case is also working on that Sherilyn Hockley case. Those two cases really happened very close together in time and in location. And it's just neither one of those are things that happen in the Granite Bay community. To this day, it's a very safe community that does not have crime, certainly not a murder type of crime. So they are working on the case. They are sending some items off for some DNA testing to see if there's anything that could potentially lead to the person responsible in that one.
Well, we definitely want to have you back on when that case breaks, and I know that it will break. I know that your team is working very hard on that and the other.
I do know that I got a call about 20 minutes after I was at the scene of the car fire from the cop that was at there at the scene, and he was asking questions about whether or not because before I got to the scene, there was a car coming the other way, and I had mentioned it to him, the cop. Leslie and Billy's here. Good to see Leslie and Billy. And like I say, I'm going to say goodnight to Leslie and Billy now because I always forget to. But it's always good to see Leslie and Billy here. Good to see you too, for sure. So getting back to the car fire thing, but the cop told me that they didn't find anybody in the car. But then he said yet, so I don't know. It's just odd how there was no police report or no. I mean, this happened late at night. This was like almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So, but there should still be some sort of an accident report, or they may be charging the person with reckless driving or something like that. Maybe that's why I haven't said anything, but I don't know. But good to see Leslie and Billy here.
Other ones you have in your county. Elise Oviar, I want to thank you so much. Placer County Sheriff's Department, thank you for joining us today to bring us up to speed, and then congratulations to your team.
Thank you. We appreciate
it. Yeah, that's awesome. That's good news. All right, so let's head over to Long Island, New York here. I do want to play this here, which I find it's great to be. It's good to see you for sure. Let's see here. Okay, so we already did the break in that case. We'll do this here. This happened this week too. My cat is really bothering me. What do you want? Get away from me. No, I don't want to talk to you right now. All right, so this happened a couple of days. 2 people are unalived in 2 different locations, and a suspect is in custody. But many questions surround a pair of fatal stabbings that happened overnight in Long Island. So this was done. All right, so here we go with this here. This happened in, let me back this up a little bit. Long Island, New York here. Here we go.
Is this crime scene has become even more active since we talked with you about an hour ago. What we've got, where before you saw a lot of detectives out here, they have all now gone into this property where the gray home is. They've gone into the home, into the backyard, into a shed in the back. They are clearly sifting through a lot of evidence very actively right now as the investigation into these homicides continues to develop. On Friday afternoon, not 1 but 2 crime scene unit vans showed up outside of this home, adding to the already significant law enforcement presence here on Mineola Avenue in Valley Stream, on hand all day. Police sources confirmed that on the property they found a body, the victim of a fatal stabbing. Investigators were first called to the scene at around 3 a.m. on Friday.
Critter Mama is here. Where's Critter Mama? Right there. It's good to see Critter Mama. Always good to see people I haven't seen him for so long here. Greta Mama's here. Always good to see you. I hope you're well. Just going over some of the cases of the week. This has been kind of in my feed for the last couple of days here. I think last time I checked on this, they were looking for the suspect, or trying to connect the two. So here's this here.
A man who lives next door only said this about it.
I don't know nothing. How do you feel about it, though? I don't like it.
He was by no means alone in that sentiment. Ramil Richards lives right across the street.
It's scary to think that there's like a murder potentially across from you, you know? So very strange and scary.
Well, I just read about the Wendy's.
I don't know if anybody's been to Long Island before, or New York City or stuff like that, but Long Island is the place you go to get away from all the crime. So when you're on work break, okay, good to see you. Dom's back too. Good to see Dom back. Let's see here. But it's so good to see Credit Mama for sure.
Through social media, I read about the Wendy's, and I thought that was bad enough, but I had no idea it was tied. Anyone from Valley Stream was connected, so. Ugh.
Another neighbor talks about another murder that happened overnight. Police say that in the parking lot at this Wendy's in Island Park, somebody else was fatally stabbed when they were taking out the trash. Cops were called to this location around midnight. The two homicide scenes are about 4.5 miles apart, but between the two, before sunrise, cops.
So right in this area here is where the Go-Go 4 were. So I'm not saying that this is connected to that, but this is Nassau County here.
Arrested a man who they now say they've connected to both killings. They nabbed him here outside of this 7-Eleven in Lynbrook. Nobody from the store would talk on camera, but the owner said officers cuffed the suspect as he walked past. Back at the scene at the Valley Stream home, more neighbors say it's all unsettling.
This is a quiet neighborhood. I've lived here my whole life. I'm 58 years old. Lived here my whole life, and this is just doesn't happen here.
And let's tell you what we know right now. That white van in the driveway where you see the detectives coming out, that is the medical examiner's vehicle. So all indications there is a body here that will be removed. Also, we've had some people come around who did not want to be on camera saying they're related to a woman who lives in the home, but that police are not giving them any information. That's a theme generally. Investigators being pretty tight-lipped about this whole thing overall, although we are told that tomorrow there will be a news conference with more details. We will continue to stay on top of this as it continues to unfold. Right now, reporting live from Valley Stream, I'm James Ford, Pix 11 News.
All right, so let's see. This one here. This was done 3 hours ago, so we'll play the update on this.
And new details about the man accused in a double murder that shocked Nassau County. Police say a 22-year-old killed two women just hours apart in two different locations. Investigators say he knew both, living with one and working with the other.
Hold on a second. Let me replay this because I wasn't paying attention. Hold on a second. So suspect in Long Island, double murder, killed co-worker, roommate. Police say a 22-year-old Long Island, 22-year-old on Long Island killed two women just hours apart in two different locations this week. So this person's responsible for both of these. So let me back this up a little bit. Hold on a second. There we go.
Details about the man accused in a double murder that shocked Nassau County. Police say a 22-year-old killed two women just hours apart in two different locations. Investigators say he knew both, living with one and working with the other. But police say the two victims did not know each other. Naomi Ruckham is here with the latest on this ongoing investigation. Naomi.
Yeah, Alan, and a lot of new information coming to light today. Police say this case started with the deadly stabbing outside of Wendy's. And within hours, the...
Let's see here. Did you see the mass shooting in Amarillo, Texas last night? 10 shot? No, I didn't see that at all. I might have. Actually, hold on. Maybe I did. I might have. Now that you mentioned that. Have you been diagnosed with emphysema before? Yes, it's always good to see Critter Mama here. Does this have any connect? No. No, it's separate, but it's kind of the same area, kind of.
The investigation led them to a suspect and a second crime scene where they realized another woman had already been killed. Flanked by officers in a white inmate jumpsuit, 22-year-old Roni Yair.
So this is the guy that's being accused of unaliving these two victims here in Long Island in Nassau County. And this came out not too long ago, about 4 hours ago or so. So this is the latest on this year.
Alvarenga Rivera was placed in a black sedan before his first court appearance. He's now charged in a double murder. Outside the courtroom, family members clung to each other, visibly shaken. Police officers were first called to a Wendy's in Island Park just after midnight Friday for a report of a man with a knife. They found 42-year-old Ana Maria del Aguila Cordova lying outside near the dumpsters. She had been taking out the trash.
Jeez, crow. That's terrible.
At the end of her shift.
When the officers responded, they observed a young lady laying on the ground with blood.
While investigating, detectives identified a suspect using surveillance and information.
That's just that's pretty brazen, man. Just to attack somebody, taking out the trash at the end of a shift with it. I mean, that's just crazy.
From the scene, police say that man was located in Lynbrook, where he told officers about his crime.
That individual said he had killed somebody that night.
As he was taken into custody, police say they learned he may be connected to a second crime scene. Officers went to a home on West Mineola Avenue in Valley Stream, where they found 32-year-old Eddie Raquel Hernandez Castillo dead. Investigators say she was killed hours earlier, around 9 p.m. Thursday. Investigators say the suspect knew both women.
This was big news. What's today? Today's Sunday, technically, right? So Friday, I think, because it was all over my. I get breaking news alerts here. So this kind of like 2 or 3 hours, and then they didn't know if they were connected or not, and they come to find out they were. But this is pretty brazen to be going around just stabbing people. This is ridiculous.
But in different ways. He lived with Hernandez Castillo, renting a room in the same house, and worked with Del Aguila Cordova at the Wendy's. Police say there's no indication the two victims knew each other.
I'll sum it up in one word: anger.
Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, who is also running for governor, says the suspect entered the country illegally from El Salvador as an unaccompanied minor in 2016. He was 12 years old at the time.
I want to stress that this didn't have to happen.
Del Aguila Cordova leaves behind 2 young children as 2 families now grieve, demanding justice. The suspect is charged with first-degree murder and multiple counts of second-degree murder.
I hope Dee Dee's fine. All right, so hold on a second. Let's go here. Wait a minute.
He's expected in court back next week. Alan?
Naomi, thank you for that.
Okay, so hold on a second here. Let's see here. I do want to get back into that case too, because there's been hold on a second. I do want to go here. Nicole, did you start watching Project Fear? Okay, so emphysema is chronic progressive, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So it's technically called COPD now. Characterized by the destruction of lung alveoli, air sacs. I used to remember how to pronounce that. And loss of lung elasticity primarily caused by smoking, air pollution, or genetic factors. Symptoms include shortness of breath, chronic cough, and wheezing. Management involves, obviously stopping smoking, medications, and rehabilitation to improve quality of life. So that's what Dom has. Do you smoke? Did you smoke? Have you smoked before? My grandfather had emphysema and he got it from painting. Dirty Diana's here. Where's Dirty Diana? Right there she is, right there. Hey Diana, good to see you. Always good to see you here. Wow. We're Dirty Diana's here. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Just Jaylene is here. Good to see Just Jaylene. Being rated. All right, so let's. What were we just doing? Early murder from quiet neighbor. I do want to play. What is this here? Hold on 1 second here. Let me shift gears here. Let's do this because this is weird. I've been lazy, sleepy lady. That's okay. All right, so here's this. Let's play this here. Boy, it's good to see you, Diana. I hope you're well. So I was going to do something else, but I'm going to do this first here. So this came in 1 day ago. Mobile County investigators are searching for a suspect or suspects after a brutal quadruple homicide left a mother. This is going to be triggering here. Her 2 children and an unborn child dead. Mobile County Sheriff's Office says the victims were found overnight inside a mobile home on Auble Moody Road in Wilmer. I'll have to find that. Investigators believe the killings were targeted. The 3 victims were found in separate rooms. Oh my God, this is terrible. So just a quick disclaimer here. This might be a little quiet neighbor arrested in horrific quadruple murder of mother and her 2 children. This is crazy. And I just saw this on the last story we did. So here's this.
Tonight, an arrest has been made in last week's gruesome quadruple homicide in Wilmer. 54-year-old William Graham Oliver, seen here during his transfer to Metro Jail, is charged with 8 counts of capital murder in connection with the killing of 46-year-old Lisa Fields, 17-year-old Keziah Lucker, who was pregnant, by the way, and 12-year-old Thomas Cordell Jr. Now, the arrest comes after sheriff's deputies executed a search warrant at Oliver's home in Wilmer earlier today.
The Mobile County Sheriff's Office arrested 54-year-old William Graham Oliver last Monday. The bodies of 46-year-old Lisa Fields, 17-year-old Keziah Lucker, who was pregnant, and 12-year-old Thomas Cordell Jr. were discovered in their home on Auble Moody Road. NBC 15 was there today as the murder suspect was taken in handcuffs to Metro Jail just 30 minutes ago. NBC 15's Darwin Singleton joins us now live.
Just learning about this case right now with you guys. So horrific quadruple murder of mother and her 2 children. This is ridiculous.
Live from the sheriff's office with the very latest. And Darwin, you just spoke with the sheriff. Is he saying what led them to William Graham Oliver?
Well, he said it was just good detective work, and we're going to hear from him in just a moment about that. But when we got here today, a large group of media out, of course, us among them, to see this man being brought from the sheriff's office right here. We're going to show you video of that perp walk. And during the perp walk, reporters asked him repeatedly about the crime. And of course, he is alleged to have committed that crime. He is accused of the crime, but he was asked about how something like this could have happened. And it was a very violent crime. He kept his head down low. He never said a word to anybody, even though he was asked directly if he was responsible for these murders. He did not say anything at all, but we do know he is now facing 8 counts of capital murder. Now, there were 4 victims.
I think this is Alabama. I'm looking for the street actually right now. I think this is in Alabama. Give me 2 seconds. Drama in my life, there was not. Oh, there was gossip. Well, it's good to see you. I hope you're well. Hope you're doing good. All the way over there.
3 people and 1 unborn child that were killed in this crime spree.
What a piece of crap. Hold on a second here. So we are. Hold on 1 second here. We can't run down off. No. All right. This is Auble Moody Road right here. This is where we're at. This is where all this kind of took place. Where the hell has Shibby been? I haven't seen Shibby in a while. So this is Auble Moody. They won't let me go on this road here. Nope. But this is where we are anyways. So why won't they let me go here? All right. So that's where we're at. This is in Alabama. This is, yeah. Okay. Let me back out a little bit here. Apparently there's a trailer park around here or something or whatever. Why can't I go on this road here? Nope. All right. Let's get out of this here. You have a confession? Yes, Alabama. This is Alabama. All right, so let's go back to this here. This is horrible.
And there's, of course, with the capital case, there's associated crimes that have to be committed with the murder to make it a capital case. And those all added up to 8 counts, according to the sheriff. We did talk to the sheriff about how this arrest came about. And he said it's just plain good detective work. Listen to it.
Bottom line is good old-fashioned police work, knocking on doors, doing a lot of interviews, collecting footage in different places, and just was able to put together a real tight timeline that pointed us to that direction. He was at the home, 7:30-ish Sunday night, the 19th, and like I said, very, very tight timeline, very solid circumstantial evidence.
The 19th of April, so that's a couple weeks ago.
At this point, and we feel confident that we have the right man and charged appropriately.
Now, Andrea, you were out in West Mobile, actually just west of Wilmer, West Mobile County, earlier today, and I was out there too at the scene of where some evidence was picked up by the sheriff's office. They were looking at a house in West Mobile today where he lives, along with, I'm told by a neighbor, his a wife and 2 children. If this neighbor is correct, he has 2 children of his own. The neighbor very concerned about the possibility that this was their guy. Says he knows him pretty well, has been living next to him for about 5 or 6 years. We're going to be talking to him tonight at 6 and 10.
All right, thank you, Paula, for that. Yeah, Dee Dee's amazing. Dee Dee's an amazing person. Hope Dee Dee's doing well. Taylor scissors, I meant. Cutting cheese with Taylor scissors. All right, I'm back to this here. This is just terrible.
And we'll have that interview for you. But right now, police and sheriff's deputies believe they have their man. The sheriff saying that William Oliver is now arrested, charged with 8 counts of capital murder in this very brutal case. Andrea?
8 counts of capital murder. 8.
Darwin, did the sheriff touch on a motive in this case? What would have prompted this violence?
Well, we threw several things at him. I asked him if it was a drug-related offense, and he says, we are not going to release any of that information right now. That's part of the investigation. So they're being very tight-lipped about why this happened and why it had to be so brutal. I mean, no murder is good, of course, but this one was particularly bad, and it's had the whole community shocked. But he says, the neighborhood is safe tonight. They have their man.
The Mobile County Sheriff's Office searched his home in Wilmer in connection to the quadruple murder. Now, this is exclusive video you will only see on NBC 15 News. Investigators were at this home on Albert Evans Road for at least 2 hours today. I was there on scene just before 3 o'clock. Investigators came out with 6 bags of evidence, and just a short time after that, they announced the arrest. A woman and 2 boys who had been held outside were allowed to go back into the home just before 3 o'clock. She declined to talk to us, and we're hearing late this afternoon from the Mobile County District Attorney's Office that he will not be making his initial appearance in court tomorrow, and that will likely happen on Friday. Investigators were called to this mobile home around 2 in the morning and found a gruesome scene. 3 victims were found in separate rooms, their hands bound behind their backs with zip ties.
It tells me that they had a plan coming in to bring zip ties.
Mobile County Sheriff Paul Birch identified the victims as 46-year-old Lisa Ferguson, who may have also gone by Lisa Fields, 17-year-old Keziah Lucker, who was pregnant, and 12-year-old Thomas Cordell.
The 12-year-old was almost decapitated, and so it was a brutal scene.
Birch says Lisa's throat.
This is absolutely insane. What the heck? Oh.
Was slashed and Keziah was shot in the head. Keziah's 18-month-old daughter was also found unharmed in the home. Birch says there were no signs of forced entry and believes more than one person could be responsible.
It would be hard for one individual to control 3 people at one time. I can tell you the house was gone through and left in disarray. So someone was searching for something.
Birch says the case was first triggered by the 18-month-old's father, who was working offshore and became alarmed when he could not reach Keziah.
When he saw her phone activated in the middle of the night, because they have that Life 360. And so we thought maybe.
Has anybody seen Charlie Manson? Oh, I know this case. Oh, good. They caught the guy. Yes. Let's hope so. Why unalive the kids though? I don't get that. I don't get unaliving anybody, but this is just sad. This is awful.
Something was wrong with the pregnancy.
The sheriff's office is working very diligently to investigate this. When a suspect is identified, we are ready to charge. There's in the presence of a child, there's 2 or more. There are any number of ways that this could go, depending on how this investigation pans out.
The bodies of 46-year-old Lisa Fields, 17-year-old Keziah Lucker, who was pregnant, and 12-year-old Thomas Cordell Jr. were discovered.
Oh my God! Look at this. This is, these actually 4 people. 1, 2, 3, and then one of these is pregnant. Who's Rotfoot? I thought he was dead. Who's dead? No, that dude related to the other people or what? No, is that dude related to the other people? I don't know. It's still past my shoulders. Oh, the hair? Cool. Well, like I said, it's good to see everybody. Nicole's here too. Nicole's awesome. I don't know who Rotfoot is. All right, let's go back to this here.
Keziah Lucker, who was pregnant, and 12-year-old Thomas Cordell Jr. were discovered inside this mobile home on Abel Moody Road around 2 a.m. Monday. Keziah's 18-month-old daughter was also inside the home, but was not hurt. Lisa's husband, Nathan Fields, posted this heartbreaking message.
I'm thinking what to say ever since I found out there are no words for what I feel right now. I'm crushed, lost, destroyed, and I don't know how I'm going to make it without my angel. This sucks. This is terrible. Oh.
On social media, saying he is, quote, crushed, lost, and destroyed, and doesn't know how he will go on.
Sad. It's too close to home.
Oh, okay. Manson is Rotfoot. Okay, I got you. Sorry. The murderer. Did he know them? I don't know. I have no idea about the case. It's just actually I'm just finding out about this right now. You asked if we saw Charlie Manson. Sorry.
This neighbor, who asked not to be identified, says she's shocked but not fearful, as investigators believe this was a targeted attack. Sheriff Paul Birch says there were no.
No, you're good. You're good, Shay. I'm trying to follow the conversation in the chat. I just can't. I do know Manson is Rotfoot, and I do know that somebody cut their hair, and somebody's cutting cheese with Taylor Scissors or something like that. The other Charles Manson is dead. Gotcha. Okay, that's correct.
Signs of forced entry, and the
Did you do a review of The Devil Wears Prada 2 yet, Paula? I gotta see that. That's the first movie was amazing.
The home was left in disarray, as if someone was searching for something. Birch revealed Lisa and Thomas's throats were
Oh, this freaking sucks. Oh, this is awful.
slashed, and Keziah was shot in the head.
I kind of felt heavy about it yesterday because God let me know that I'm not praying enough for my neighborhood. And it just kind of made me sad.
Wait, there were two Charles Mansons
for the children, you know.
A family member tells NBC 15 News Lisa was known for helping others, often taking in friends of her children who needed a place to stay. A GoFundMe has been created to help the oldest brother, Damien, pay for the funerals of his mother, brother, and sister. Bert.
I have to hold on a second. I have to copy this here. I'll do this later.
Mother, brother, and sister. Birch vows to bring the killer or killers to justice.
The brutality of the murders has sent shockwaves far beyond the small community of Wilmer. Tonight, my conversation with someone who knows the suspect well, or so he thought. He says he lived next door.
Okay. Yeah, if you do one on the Prada movie too, let me know. If you guys have channels, feel free to throw them in the chat. I know Dirty Diana's still got a channel, right? Paula's got a great channel. She does great reviews. She does great work on her channel. I think everybody in here pretty much has channels, so feel free to throw them in here. Mustang does a really good job of putting them in here. I have no problem promoting other channels if I can. All right.
To Oliver for more than 6 years. It was a stunning development in a case that sent shockwaves through the community. 54-year-old William Oliver, a resident of rural West Mobile County, arrested near his home in Wilmer after being pulled over by deputies. At the same time, sheriff's deputies and SWAT descended upon his house, searching for evidence in a quadruple murder so savage and brutal, it's almost beyond comprehension, especially for someone like Mark Coleman, who lives right next door to Oliver.
Well, the SWAT came in, guns and all of that, and the SWAT vehicle.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, and I'm thinking, what these? No way.
Yeah.
No way. And then I certainly wasn't even thinking about the murders at that point. I'm thinking something else, you know, and that was the farthest thing from my mind.
But today, Coleman was forced to face this possibility that his neighbor, who he described as a handyman.
So Wilmer, Alabama is kind of down towards the southwestern part. You're almost into you're pretty close to Mobile, Alabama there at that point. You're basically due west of Mobile, Alabama. So Gulf Shores, you're right, kind of almost in 3-state territory there. You have the western panhandle of Florida, then there's Alabama, and then you're right into Biloxi, which is one of the greatest places on the planet. All right, so let's get back to this here. Hold on a second.
And dedicated father of 3 boys, broke into a home, zip-tied the hands of a pregnant teen, her mother and younger brother, and then killed them all. The pregnant mom shot in the head, her mother and brother found with their throats slashed. What is it about him that surprises you that he would even be mixed up in something like this?
Because he's a quiet, unassuming man. He's.
I don't know if they got a motive on this guy or not yet. All right, here we go.
Spends a great deal of time with his kids, has 3 boys, and him and his wife get along well, and his mother lives with him as well. And just a nice, unassuming guy.
Well, you know, unless you live with someone for a long time, you never know what they're capable of doing or what their motivations are. And, you know, it is a shocking crime for anyone, especially if it's someone you know.
Shortly after Oliver was booked into Metro Jail, Mobile County Sheriff Paul Birch offered limited details about the arrest. Yes, Oliver is the sole suspect, he said, and yes, he knew the victims. And while NBC 15 News watched as detectives removed at least 6 bags of evidence from Oliver's house this morning, Birch was hesitant to speculate what went down at the scene of the crime, which was 11 miles away from where Oliver lives.
This kind of doesn't make any sense. It's kind of a weird type of dynamic. Do you remember the Clutter family murders? I do not. I might. He helped kill Shorty Shea, in cold blood. Shea. Chucky is a nasty man. Chucky who? With Charlie Manson? I don't know. The Clutter family murders. That sounds familiar. All right, here we go.
Well, you know, there's no one alive to tell us that. So, you know, we have, you know, what we believe to be, you know, his reason for being there, and that'll be something for the district attorney's office to get into.
There was one survivor, the pregnant teen's 18-month-old daughter, far too young to speak of such a despicable crime. And
Unbelievable. Just unfreaking believable. 18-month-old daughter is alive. She's got to live. Yes, I should. This 18-month-old daughter has to live now without her mom. Just sucks. Terrible.
thankfully so, for it would be a tale no parent would ever want their child to comprehend. This one seemed to affect you personally.
Well, anytime there are children.
Let me hold on a second. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I got my, I'll put my email down here. All right, so I just put my email in the chat, right there. So if you guys have any cases you want me to look into, I can do that. That's my email right there. But I will. I'll look into that one too, for sure, Shay.
Involved, it makes it a little tougher, and you know, and especially an unborn child. So yeah. But again, he will, you know, he'll face justice, but he'll ultimately face the ultimate justice on Judgment Day.
Though there were only 4 victims in this crime, including that unborn child, William Oliver faces 8 counts of capital murder because of other crimes that occurred in connection with those murders, including burglary and the death of a child less than 14 years old.
Jail records show Oliver has been booked 12 times in Mobile County Metro Jail since 1990. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison in 1991 for a stolen truck and a string of burglaries at service shops, serving just under 4 years. He later faced a DUI charge in 1996. In 2007, a woman accused him of domestic violence and filed for a protection from abuse order. Both were dismissed. 13 years later, he was charged with first-degree theft for stealing appliances from the Marigold apartment complex and served nearly a year after pleading to a lesser charge. Now, Oliver faces the most serious charges yet, 8 counts of capital murder.
What made you want to go into their house in the middle of the night and do such a thing? Is there anything you want to say before you get voted up? Now is your chance. William Oliver, how did you know?
I'm telling you, man, if this is the guy, and like I said, everybody's innocent until proven guilty, I guess. This guy does deserve to be just, I mean, the worst possible punishment ever. Just crazy. People are crazy.
Why did you do this to her family? William Oliver, do you think that you're being wrongfully arrested right now? Is there anything that you would like to say to the family?
I haven't watched the Kentucky Derby in probably 20 years. I probably should start. I used to watch religiously the Derby. All right, so this is the end of this here. I'll keep an eye on this here. It's just terrible. That's just awful. And we did this. We did this one here, right? Did we do that one? All right. So give me 2 seconds here. I'm gonna get over to the it's so fun. I've been going to the track since I was 2. Yeah, we used to have I never bet. I was never a bet. I'm not a betting person, but we used to go to Suffolk Downs all the time down in Massachusetts, and then of course Rockingham Park here in New Hampshire for years. It's a good place to drink. I do love horses too. All right, so let's switch over to let's see here. I want to switch over to the Sandra Birchmore case here, and then we'll go to the missing person case of the week. Like I said, it's always good to see everybody here in the chat. You guys are all awesome. Really appreciate everybody for coming in here. Even some of the new people. Clutter family murders. Let's see here. Okay, so I was going to start off with this here, but I do want to go to this because this is so we'll get back to this here in a second here, but I do want to do
A major.
So if anybody knows me, they know I've been following this case for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years for sure. This poor kid, well, she wasn't a kid, but she was a kid at one time. The Sandra Birchmore case. So they originally ruled her death as being a S, but they've changed the cause of death here in the Sandra Birchmore case to undetermined. So this just happened. In a rare move, state medical examiners changed Sandra Birchmore's official cause of death from an S to an undetermined. And we'll see how that plays in court. Anyways, I've been covering this case for forever. This kid here, Sandra Birchmore, was groomed at a very young age, 12 or 13 years old. She started to go to this police academy training type thing where they would take these kids and try to so-called teach them a better way. But she was groomed by this guy that's being charged with her unaliving now. So here we go with this here, and this is the 25 News story on this here.
Major twist in the case of a pregnant woman allegedly killed by a former police officer. Her death certificate has been changed. Boston 25 News reporter Bob Ward breaks down yet another dramatic turn in this case.
This is not common at all. Sandra Birchmore's family is elated with this ruling. The cousin I spoke to said she never believed that Sandra killed herself. And now the medical examiner makes a key ruling just months before this highly publicized case goes to trial.
It's about time. This is an amazing step towards getting justice for Sandra and her son, her unborn son.
Barbara Wright never thought her cousin, Sandra Birchmore, killed herself. And now the medical examiner agrees, changing Sandra's official cause of death from suicide to undetermined. Federal prosecutors believe Matthew Farwell strangled Birchmore and staged her death to...
This guy here is such a piece of shit. I just can't stand this guy. Him and his the other. There was a comment in here that I'm trying to get back to here. Who was the dad of the fetus? We don't know. I don't think so. If you're talking about this, I don't know. It wasn't him though. A lot of people think it's the brother, but we'll see.
Look like a suicide to cover up their affair, which started when Sandra was 15. Matthew Farwell has pleaded not guilty. Wright says the ME's ruling is vindication.
She was very excited about life. She was excited about her job. She was excited about being a mom, becoming a mom, and going to nursing school. And
so this case here, I've been following this case for a while, but this case here took on a whole new persona at the Karen Reed trial. in Massachusetts. And while they were doing their trial with the second trial with Karen Reed, they were all picketing for her, the Sandra Birchmore case, because the state police wanted to look the other way in Massachusetts here. But they garnered so much attention and so much backlash at the time of the Karen Reed trial that the FBI decided that they wanted to look into this, and so now here we are. But they were ready to just throw this case out the window. You know, they didn't care at all, because this, you know, I've said all along, if you want corruption, you don't have to look any further than Massachusetts. I mean, I grew up there, and if they want to hide something, they will. So this case here, I've been following forever. But like I said, it gained traction during the Karen Reed trial.
Her first apartment, she was just over the moon about everything.
The ME's original finding of suicide months after Birchmore's death was a factor in the Norfolk County DA's office's decision not to bring any criminal charges in the case. Now, the U.S. Attorney's Office has the case, and Farwell is facing federal charges, including murder.
How significant is it legally that this change has been made?
That is significant, and it really does undercut the defense argument.
Boston defense attorney Peter Ellikin tells me the ME's new finding is a big win for federal prosecutors.
Until now, the defense could just keep pointing, hey, the medical examiner who looked at everything firsthand said that it was suicide. So now you're trying to bring in your experts and argue differently. Now that it's changed, that the cause is undetermined, at that point, they're much more of an equal footing. If anything, this really definitely does help the prosecution.
Authorities say, according to DNA, Matthew Farwell was not the father of Sandra Birchmore's unborn child, but his DNA was found at the crime scene. The trial of the former Stoughton police officer is set to begin in October. I'm Bob Ward for your local station, Boston 25 News.
Okay, so we're going to go to this one right here, so I don't have to go back.
I'm Glenn Jones of NBC 10 Boston here with the NBC.
Okay, so this is basically the case analysis here, what's going on in the case. And I'm going to try to hopefully cover this case at some point, what evidence says about the Fed's Farwell probe. And I do know that we did a little live a few weeks ago about what they found. The initial investigation into this case couldn't have been any worse, but we'll see. This is not a slam dunk case for sure. But the fact that they do have DNA at the crime scene is not good for the cop, Farwell.
10 Boston Chief Legal Analyst Michael Coyne, and we're going to talk about the Matthew Farwell trial. As you know, he is the former Stoughton police officer who is accused of killing Sandra Birchmore after allegedly having a years-long extramarital sexual relationship with her. He is accused of killing her in 2021 and then staging the crime scene to look like a suicide. He denies all charges. We expect this to go to trial in October. And Michael, as we get closer to trial, we're seeing all of these court documents filed in preparation for trial, and we're learning so much about what the government believes happened in this case. And first off, I gotta harken back to the Reed trial, which you helped us all through with, plain spoken and direct analysis.
If you have to take off, Nicole, I plugged mine in and I'm still here so far. But if we lose you, Nicole, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. You're awesome. Nicole's an amazing person. I don't know where Heather is. Where'd Heather go? Heather was in here at some point. Heather's probably the most amazing person in the universe. We love Heather here. I hope Heather's well. But it's good to see everybody.
Analysis. And one of the things you told me during that trial is that the investigators did not bathe themselves in glory. And I've been thinking about this as I've been reading these documents, because it seems as if these investigators missed so many clues that the federal investigators were able to pick up on. What's your sense about the quality of this investigation initially?
Well, I think your analogy to Reed is quite right.
Let me read this comment. This is there was a carload, 6 of us in a Gremlin. Remember those? Smoke was rolling all the way down I-65 like Cheech and Chong. I would have paid any amount of money to be in that car with you guys. That must have been fun. No, they better not be. The feds have got this now, so I don't think the police department has anything to do with this. But listen, this guy here is a piece of dog shit. Literally, he's all 3 of them. The 3 of this, not just him. But this is this is the case here. Like I said, this case, they were really trying to throw this under the rug. But I forget her name, the person who really is a hero in this case, wouldn't let it go. Because I think Sandra Birchmore's family, her father and mother are no longer here. So just sucks. This poor kid had, groomed. She was groomed from like 13. So
It's at the minimum. It's an incredible amount of sloppiness and unprofessionalism, just like we saw in Reed. And that's assuming that a lot of the mistakes that we have in this case were benign, were simply mistakes as opposed to intentional. You've got some of the same investigators involved, and there is a fellow police officer who now has been charged with the crime. So you hope that it was mistakes that may have not been because of their affinity for the now defendant, and that's what one worries about legitimately in this case, is some form of cover-up involved potentially as well.
You put your finger right on it, because the binary choice is incompetence or corruption.
Yeah,
Neither of those is good.
No, there's no winning there. The only question is, which do you prefer to be seen as?
Right. All right, let's talk about some of this evidence. First off, the text messages. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands of text messages between Matthew Farwell and Sandra Birchmore that...
Remember the old beach wagons? You fill like 30 kids in the car and you go to the beach, or go to drive-ins were good too. Drive-ins were the best. They should bring the drive-ins back.
Went undetected in the initial investigation, but in the federal investigation, it really does paint Matthew Farwell in a very, very negative light.
Absolutely. And that's what we should be realizing, is that nothing is lost forever these days electronically. An awful lot of information can be recovered. And the fact that it has been, and it does look incredibly bad for the defendant to have exchanged all of these messages, and in some significant detail with respect to the sexual relationship between them and the like. All of that is significant circumstantial evidence potentially of his guilt here.
It seems as if those initial investigators also missed the surveillance video that shows Matthew Farwell entering and leaving the apartment of Sandra Birchmore in a time frame that lines up with her time of death.
And heavily masked as well, let's remember. So, I mean, it is clear when one looks at the video that, yes, it was potentially during times of COVID, but in the same vein, there looks like one could easily see that as taking steps to conceal his identity and his presence in both the apartment at some point and then in the apartment area as well. So again, you've got a significant piece of evidence that the government will use to support not just that he's there during the critical time period, but it shows some level of consciousness of guilt, the manner in which he's dressed and trying to avoid detection.
So we've already covered that this investigation initially by the local law enforcement lacked quality, but their investigation then goes to the medical examiner, who relies on it to form the opinion that Sandra Birchmore died by suicide. Now, that's problematic, right? Because then they kind of have this fruit from a bad tree.
Yeah, it's incredibly problematic. I mean, remember, again, the standard of proof in a criminal case is it's the government's obligation to prove guilt beyond all reasonable doubt. And when you have the medical examiner, again, much like Reed, where the medical examiner did not say it was a homicide, said it was undetermined, here, and it goes even further and says that her death was as a result of suicide. That was their determination. Now, based on incomplete and faulty information, but nonetheless, that makes it admissible in this case with respect to his defense that I didn't do it, she committed suicide. So again, it's a symphony of errors here compounded on top of one another, and it's very problematic.
This is, just crazy shit. This whole, I call this jibber jabber. It's just, these people are freaking horrible people. They just are. Let's see here. Going back to the chat. Oh, I want cake. I hate crooked ass pigs like these and Jerry Holman. There's plenty of them out there. Cake is gross. You don't like cake? My first ride was a 64 Chevy flatbed, pick-me-up truck. I could jump a soda can in the Marty K parking lot in granny gear. One of the best vehicles I ever owned was an International Scout. It was the very, very early SUV where it was all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, literally. You had to get out of the car, literally lock the hubs in. There were no windshield wiper handle. The windshield wipers were on the you had to pull the button for the windshield wipers. I remember that truck. That was you couldn't stop that thing. Good old Detroit reconstructed steel. It would just rot in no time. My bighorn was Sunburst Orange. That's its name. Station wagons. Station wagons were a thing of the past. All right, so let's go here. I'm going to play a little bit more of this here, and then we got to move on to the missing person case of the week. I just wanted to play this because this is just all of this is bullshit, literally.
For the government, because the medical examiner's testimony will be admissible, and it does start to help create that reasonable doubt that the defendant needs.
This Sandra Bertour's death happens in Canton, Massachusetts. The investigators who come in to investigate this unattended death are the Massachusetts State Police. The law enforcement agency, let's call it, the Norfolk County DA's office, has to make a charging decision after all the information comes in. It's the same medical examiner.
I literally grew up in Revere, Massachusetts, and you could, see something happening, and you just don't see it, right? Last thing you want to do is see something. The best thing to do is just not see it. And if somebody asks you if you saw it, just, no, I didn't see it at all. Your life depended on it. If you don't see it, if you see it, yeah.
These are all the same figures, the same apparatus as the Reed trial, and it does not exude confidence.
None at all. I mean, again, looking at it as one would expect a professional police force to examine, you question everything. That's what law enforcement is taught, to examine things carefully, none of which appears to have been done here. And especially when we now know the close relationship that the police officers generally had in Stoughton with this victim, that should have been examined thoroughly. The fact is that the text messages would have been relatively easy to obtain early on between her phone and others. It's just the level of inattention to detail does make you wonder that it's not just incompetence. There was some intent to not dig too deep on this.
All right, so we shouldn't gloss over the fact that investigators did interview Matthew Farwell just, within a day or two after Sandra Birchmore's body was found. He admits to having an improper relationship with her, but doesn't admit much more than that. And it seems as if investigators took his word and looked no further.
Like, that's just okay, right? Like, that's just, you got to be kidding me. Like, that's just an okay thing. Okay, I'm going to admit to that, but what a piece of shit. I mean, literally, oh my God.
Further.
Yeah, agreed. The fact is that his interview now is going to be used against him. At the time, simply, the government would argue he was trying to cover up whatever he had done.
My paternal grandma had an automatic Pinto station wagon. I took my driver's test in it. Remember the Pinto wagons? Although I knew how to drive manual, didn't want the chance of having to take off on a hill. Right. Those Pinto wagons, man, they should have dropped those things on out of planes, man, for bombs. Remember the Pintos?
I wanted to be cooperative, but as what we've found with most criminal defense lawyers and their clients, the instruction generally is to not cooperate, to not make statements, because all of those statements and what he didn't say at the time will now be used against him with respect to what they've uncovered post that interview.
This guy here ruined this person's life from a very young age, and he doesn't deserve to be walking anywhere with legs, in my opinion. This guy here, and I have to say, everybody's kind of innocent until proven guilty, I guess, but I mean, I have absolutely no respect for anybody that has this type of authority, right? And then just abuses the power to, what a sick bastard. I can't stand this guy.
You with respect to the text messages and the extent of the relationship and the extent of her pregnancy and the like. There's all of that now comes into play. Your statements, it's worse to have statements that you make that are later turned out to be lies than to have said nothing. And I think he's going to find that out in this case.
Although there must have been a couple of years, Michael, where he thought his lying had made him escapable, that he was going to, in a sense, get away with this, because after the Norfolk County DA's office closes this case, he must think he's in.
I had to take off the face mask because it was annoying and my dogs were looking at me weird. Yes, the gas tank in the very rear exploded if rear-ended. Yeah, the tracker, the Geo Tracker. Yep, those were the old Jeeps too, or the old Willys. You could just take a corner, and they had the roll bar, so you could. One of my relatives died in one of those. He was pinned beneath the roll bar. Distant relative, a long time ago. They made some really good explosive cars for sure back then.
In the clear.
I think that's right. The interview was in February following her death. The medical examiners, the cause of death came out a month later. And then shortly thereafter, the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office closed their investigation. At that point, and in most cases, that would be the end of it. You wouldn't think that anything else would follow. But again, the whole world turns on the Karen Reed case. A lot of the attention on Reed also started to focus on this case and the close proximity of the two towns and the issues with respect to both law enforcement being involved, as well as the same investigators and the prosecuting office all of that started to raise a lot more attention to it and focus on it as to why some of these things that we now know weren't.
Speaking of cats, like we have 6 cats here. So it's, what time is it? It's about 3:47. So normally around 4, quarter past 4, somewhere around there. That's usually when I feed them. And they're already starting to line up around the house, and they're eyeing me like lions do in the jungle. Like, if you don't feed me soon, we're gonna eat you. And they're like, one thing my mom wanted one so back in the day. The Pintos were, yeah, Pintos and the old Vegas. I lived in Hawaii when I had the tracker. Then I bought a Honda Element. Those were okay. Yeah, the cats will literally stalk me everywhere I go. They just, like if I move over to the couch or something, they'll follow me over there. 6 of them. They'd probably take me out too.
Dug into much more deeply.
The timeline you just laid out is critical for another reason, because the federal investigators say in the summer of 2021, they believe Matthew Farwell was responsible for another sexual crime. A woman who says she woke up after meeting Matthew Farwell in a bar and she couldn't remember things. And she feared that she had been taken advantage of, sexually abused during the course of that night.
No doubt that if this guy did this to her, he probably did this to other people. There's 3 of them now, and I'm trying to find the images of the three amigos, I call them. But anyways, if anybody wants a wrench, let me know. That way, if you have channels, you can throw them in the chats. And like I said, I know if you guys have channels, let me know. Yeah, the Honda Element was a good card too.
If that is the case, if that's the allegation from this woman, should we expect any accountability or investigation on this separate charge that seems unrelated to the death of Sandra Birchmore?
You would expect a more thorough examination of that issue on its own. I don't see where that is likely going to be admissible in the federal case at this point, but you would expect, especially in view of all we know now, is that question and the issue of what happened there be examined more thoroughly and potentially face criminal charges, not from the federal government, I believe, but from the state authority, if they believe that the case will stand up to scrutiny at this point.
Well, it's 5 years after that alleged separate crime. He's not been charged with it. Would I be silly to be optimistic that there will be an investigation?
Yes, you would, because the lapse of time, witnesses and evidence are lost along the way. People's memories fade. If they're not charged early, it becomes a much more difficult case to prosecute successfully down the road.
All right, let's explore.
All right, okay. So I wanted to cover that a little bit tonight. I mean, it's an interesting case. I hope it goes to prison for the rest of his life or worse. I have absolutely no respect for him whatsoever. Back when cars were made of metal and had carburetors, remember that? And points and plugs. I used to love changing the spark plug in my my Chevy Silverado. All right, so I want to go over this too. I don't know if we did this last week here. Then we'll get to the missing person case of the week. But I do want to cover a little bit of that case that was brought up the other day in our last couple of lives, the Melissa Bison case. So hold on one second. We'll play this here. I don't know if we did we do this last week here? Let's see here. A 14-year-old was unalived. Her suspect's killer's DNA has sat in the system for decades. For 32 years, Seattle's middle schooler Tanya Frazier's suspected killer went unidentified. Even as his DNA sat in the system designed to catch them. So, here's this here. I don't know if we did this last week, but this was done 5 or 6 days ago. I might not have covered this last week because I might have run out of time, but here we go.
Frazier had been frustrated with no arrests made in her murder. Now, it turns out investigators had the DNA to put the killer behind bars all along. So why did it take 32 years? Andy Judson with our Seattle sister station dug in to find a surprising answer.
My Silverado was awesome. It's just, you could literally drink beer while you were changing the sparklers. There's that much room in the engine. The hood was like, I don't know, a football field wide and long. I used to be able to get in there, sit down, put my beer on the motor, and change the plugs. There was so much room. Nowadays, not so much.
Answer.
When
Did I play this last week? I don't think so.
when I think about her, I don't know. I just think about like,
Look at this kid, just 14-year-old. Just absolutely horrible case.
who would she be? Like, would she have kids? What would she have done? What impact would she have like made on the world?
32 years ago, Tara Frazier lost her sister to a killer. The King 5 investigators found the entire time the murderer's DNA was sitting in a system specifically meant to connect physical evidence with suspects.
It's what's made me think they never like tried. You have evidence.
In July 1994, Tanya was just 14 years old when she vanished after leaving summer class at Meany Middle School. 5 days later, her body was found along East Highland Drive, blocks from where she was last seen. She'd been sexually assaulted and stabbed.
She turned up dead on Saturday in this field near the Arboretum, found by a man walking his dog.
Well, everybody's just devastated. I mean, totally devastated.
But the case went cold. Seattle detectives could not find a match for male DNA found on Tanya's body.
We had somebody who we thought it might be him. Said, "Hey,
This case here is just, I mean, all these cases, I should do a disclaimer and say this case, but I mean, they're all terrible cases, but these kids, your 14-year-old kid, right? Just no chance. She had no chance whatsoever.
why don't you give us your DNA sample?" And he agreed, and it wasn't him.
He's retired now, but as a homicide detective, Hoyt Steiger says Tanya's case always stuck with him.
I've had to sit and talk to families whose loved ones were murdered, and they're devastated, and they're more devastated by not knowing who did it.
It makes it hard to trust people because like who was this person and did we trust them and like they did this?
To Tira, not having answers never made sense.
From day one, there was DNA. Like you have skin under her nails, like you have semen. That seems like more than enough to be able to identify somebody.
The Frazier family was so frustrated they hired a private investigator, Rose Winquist.
There's Tanya's box. It's been a long, long journey with this family. And for many years, they've just been in the dark.
A breakthrough in a 30-year-old Seattle murder case.
Then, 5 months ago, the call finally came. There'd been a match and an arrest.
I stood there, just like stood there, and then I started bawling. And then I was like, I don't even know. Like I'm not sad, but I'm definitely not happy. And it was just like so emotional. I looked at his pictures for a long time because it was just so like, this is the person. There's a lot of gratitude. Like I'm so grateful that they didn't just give up on this, like that they did solve this. But like, why did it take so long?
Police arrested Mark Anthony Russ. His bail, $1 billion, because he'd been in trouble with the law before. He'd spent 25.
billion. Why did Mike Myers come to mind when she said that? $1 billion.
Years in prison for 4 felony convictions, one of those for attempted rape.
Look at this guy's rap sheet: attempted rape, assault, burglary, robbery. None of these are any good.
By law, felony offenders must give their DNA to a national database.
If there's somebody in there that has that DNA, it'll hit. It'll go, this is the person.
The King 5 investigators found that Mark Russ's DNA was collected in 1991. That's 3 years before he allegedly murdered
$1 billion, right? Like, hold on a second. Let me go to the bank, get that. Like, who's got that? Nobody. Very few people have that.
Tanya. So why weren't investigators able to connect the dots?
The suspect wasn't a suspect until 31 years later.
The Washington State Crime Lab says they tried for years.
9 different times we had requests for new testing. 9 different times we responded to that request. 9 different times we made different submissions, and the last one worked.
Why the last one? Like, what was different?
I mean, I don't mind if technology is there, but just give me enough room to move, right? Like, I mean, they bury stuff in cars these days just to get to a simple thing. Like, years ago, I had an S10 Blazer, and underneath the battery was the actual activator for the all-wheel drive thing. So you had to literally, every time you had an issue with the switch for the all-wheel drive, you had to take the battery out and then get underneath the battery, and that's where the switch was to fix it. It's just these days here, there's absolutely no room whatsoever to move, to fix on shit.
Different.
So we were able to separate the male DNA from the female DNA.
That was key. Before that last try, the technology needed to separate Tanya's DNA from the perpetrators didn't exist. The lab couldn't pull out the male's unique DNA until now.
But when we can zero in on just that and test just that and run just that through this thing, it doesn't confuse the system, it clarifies the system.
People close to Tanya's case.
I had a Ford 250 dump, dual drive dump truck. And you didn't even need a key. You could just, you could jumpstart it with a crowbar. Because back in the old Fords, they didn't have this, the solenoids were separate from the starters. They just ground, hit the starter, and it would start right up.
Case are worried. If it took decades to identify Mark Russ in her case, were others missed?
I would be like very surprised if he had not done this other times. Like very surprised.
Loving memory of.
What if
This poor kid, this is just so, I mean, she could have been so much just wiped out. 14-year-old.
he potentially raped other women? And what if their rape kits got entered into the system, but because of the statute of limitations, what if their DNA, what if that rape kit is gone?
For years, there was a massive backlog of untested rape kits in the state of Washington.
I'm sure there are cases out there, and there are perpetrators out there that benefited from that system, that situation.
But now, with new technology, the State Patrol has a message for violent criminals.
There may be somebody out there who did something bad 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. We're going to knock on your door someday. Be afraid.
The trial date in this case is set for May 21st. Mark Anthony Russ has pled not.
All right, so I'll keep an eye on that. I was going to play that last week. I think I might have run out of time. All right, so let's go to the missing person case of the week. I do want to kind of rifle through these here really quick because, well, not really quick or rifle through these, but I've been here already 2.5 hours. I haven't done anything yet. So here's, let's see here. This is the missing person case of the week. This is this has been covered by them before, I think. So this is the case of Elaine McKinley. This is part of the News Nation missing series. Hiker with Alzheimer's missing for over a year. There's kind of a renewed push to try to figure out what's going on here. This is this week with our missing series looks at the case of Margaret Elaine McKinley, a 79-year-old who vanished on a walking trail in California a year ago. Her longtime partner said despite a recent Alzheimer's diagnosis, Elaine lived a full active life. The two would hike and dance multiple times a week with friends, describing Elaine as quick and agile. Went on what was supposed to be a normal hike to celebrate a friend's birthday. The unthinkable happened. Her partner and friends said Elaine ran ahead of the group close to a picnic area, but when the two arrived, Elaine was nowhere to be seen. Within hours, a massive search operation was underway. Crews using dogs, horses, drones, and thermal planes searched through the wooded area. So here, nearly a year later, there's still no sign of Elaine. What happened to her, nobody knows. So here's the case. I may have to fast forward this because they like to go through other stuff, but let's do that. Hold on one second here, because we already covered that. We covered this guy. Hold on one second here. We don't need to see the towel again. Let's do, okay, here we go. For God's sakes, we don't need to see the guy in the towel. Again.
Since Margaret Elaine McKinley disappeared on a hike in the Portola Valley, California area near San Jose. Those with her on that trail say one moment she was there and the next.
Farqu's here. Hey, Farq, good to see you. Always good to see Farq here. Haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you, though, for sure. Yeah, the thing is, like, I've had 3 Subarus now. The first 2, I wouldn't buy anything else after the first 2. This one here that I got, the newer one, is probably the biggest piece of dog shit. It's awful. This car here is terrible. I'll probably never buy another one. But the first 2 were good, so you can't always trust, the vendor, right? Like, but it's good to see Farq here. Okay, so we're just going over the missing person of the case. Farq, this is the case of Margaret Elaine McKinley.
Gone. The day Margaret Elaine McKinley vanished was meant to be a celebratory hike. May 1st.
This is really sad. This is terrible here. I'll try to pull up her information here. Hold on a second.
First was my 81st birthday. And the night before, we had celebrated Elaine. She had intentionally put the candles on backwards. So I had an 18th birthday celebration the night before.
Kit Durgin says Elaine was always spunky that way. They'd been together 34 years. Elaine was a fixer, the do-it-yourselfer, the animal lover, and the dancer. They were both avid travelers and hikers. Elaine's diagnosis of Alzheimer's not slowing them down.
We hiked at least 3 times a week, and we ballroom danced the other days of the week. So she was not your typical Alzheimer's person. She was nowhere near needing a walker, maybe a leash.
Elaine's a very strong person and very quick, agile, and I hike every day, and she's faster and stronger than I am.
Lee Gallagher joined the birthday walk that day at Windy Hill Preserve. Everyone appreciating nature in full glory.
We just ambled down the trail, looking at all the wildflowers. The forget-me-nots were just banks of the forget-me-nots.
Lee captured these photos of Kit and Elaine at the start of their 2.6-mile walk along Lost Trail.
So we're getting close to the picnic area, and Elaine, which was typical of Elaine, she was ready to get there. So she ran ahead, and we got there, and there was no sign of Elaine. So we were pretty shocked.
All of a sudden, where's Elaine?
Kit and Lee split up, searching different trails.
I'm running into hikers, and we're both asking, have you seen an older single woman in a red jacket? And everybody's saying no.
I hiked probably for 15 minutes down the hill and kept walking, calling Elaine's name.
Lee found a ranger, and almost immediately, searchers were pouring over.
Okay, so hold on one second here. Sorry, I might have been I got to get a better computer, because sometimes if I go to, like, I was just, hold on a second here. Let me, I do want to, so this is, every time I try to go to some of these sites, it kind of lags my computer a little bit. So I apologize for that. But here's, this is the Windy Hill Open Space Preserve here. That's what they're talking about. This is in Portola Valley, California. So this is kind of, this is where she was. I mean, you got to be pretty fit to do stuff like this here. I mean, this is, I wouldn't be able to do this. This is kind of like the trail preserve here. Look at this. Beautiful place. So this is where they're talking about. This is where she was kind of last seen here. No, there's no way I'm doing that. Not with the way I smoke. I can't even go walk to the car without getting winded here. Yes, good tires do make a difference. Good tires. Did anyone hear about the little Aboriginal girl who was abducted and found deceased here in Oz? I just going to cover that tonight. I'm not sure. Hold on a second here. Let me go back to this. Let me get out of this here. I got too many windows open. Sorry. I think I was just about to cover that tonight. Fuck you.
For the preserve.
For the next 10 days, there were searchers from all over the state. They had dogs, they had horses, they had drones, they had thermal planes.
Searching ravines and tall, dense poison oak.
They were being washed down when they came in from the search because they'd been in all this poison oak. Several of them ended up in the hospital.
It's some of the roughest terrain I've seen.
Kit hired searcher Jason Torlano, who has years of experience in extreme terrain like Yosemite National Park. He says the easy walking paths at Windy Hill Preserve hide a deceptive drop-off.
It instantly went off the trail, so the bushes could be a 15 or 20-foot drop right off the trail, and you might not be able to tell that there's a big drop instantly off the trail. Then there'd be another one and another one, so you had to use ropes to go through these sections.
And still no sign of Elaine or her bright red jacket and backpack. After a year of multiple searches, her friends and loved ones baffled.
She could have slipped. She could have sprained an ankle. She could have broken a leg. But how far could she have gotten, and when we called, no response. So it's like she disappeared in thin air.
There are people that believe she was kidnapped. I don't believe that. Why would they kidnap a 79-year-old woman with Alzheimer's, right?
Torlano.
This is just dumb. This is like, why would somebody do this? This is, I'm trying to get the information on this case here. So we've been to Windy Hill already, right? So, I'm not doing very good tonight. I should be much more ahead of where I am right now. Welcome back at JP for sure.
Believes Elaine is still there somewhere.
100%. If you're not in the correct spot, you're not going to find the person. Might be on the other side of a boulder, might be on the other side of the tree. So you have to come right up onto the person.
Kit takes comfort in signs of Elaine's presence.
I've never seen a sawtooth butterfly on this property. And it waved around, it circled around for like 20 minutes. I believe it was her telling me that she was okay.
Without any real answers, she relies on her faith.
I trust that she ascended and is at peace. And I still would like to know what happened. I wish.
This is so freaking sad. There's basically no other information that I can find other than what we're doing here. And basically, I've gone to 2 or 3 other different sites that have her case, but they're all basically saying the same thing, that she ran ahead of the group close to the picnic area, but when the 2 arrived, Elaine was nowhere to be seen. So, it's kind of strange how they couldn't. Crews using dogs, horses, and drones. You would think the dogs would have found a scent. I don't know when they got the dogs out there, but strangely enough, when stuff like this happens, I always think of animals. Maybe, I don't know, maybe just heard of this case tonight. Me too. Oh, you passed out? Well, that's good. I mean, it's best to pass out when you have teeth pain. Yeah, where did DD go? Yeah, I'm going to try to see if I can figure that out too, FARQ, about that other case in Australia. I know there's a case that I'm following in Australia too. I don't know if it's the same one.
I could have said goodbye.
This is so sad. This is awful. Ugh.
With me now, Kathy Tarr, Executive Director of the Fowler O'Sullivan Foundation. This group works to help families of missing hikers. I so appreciate you being here. We do a lot of stories, Kathy, of hikers.
You know, here's the deal. You would think that if somebody's going to kidnap or take advantage of somebody like this, it probably would be for money, right? That's like the whole thing with the Nancy Guthrie thing. You would think it's a money thing. You know, somebody's going to attack a 79-year-old walking on a trail in California. Somebody's going to attack her. It's probably going to have to do something with, maybe somebody's looking for money, quick money or something like that, to steal her, whatever. I mean, why would somebody want to do any harm to a 79-year-old hiker? It just doesn't make any sense. But there's some really crazy freaking people out there, right? So, but you would think that there'd be some sort of dragging or some screaming or some, I don't know, just strange. So that's why, you wonder if maybe an animal was involved in this, or like a bear. I know there's bear out in those parts, maybe a coyote. I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Who simply vanish off trails. How did you first get involved and hear about Elaine's story?
Yes. Hi. First of all, thank you so much for having me on. I heard about this story, I believe, through Kit. I believe she had heard of us and had reached out to us, telling me about what had happened that day.
I mean, what could this poor woman do to somebody? Just it's horribly sad.
And where do you start with your experience with hikers who vanish in a case like this, with the added element that Elaine had some dementia issues?
Look at this. This is just, this woman here kind of reminds me of my wife's grandmother.
About when it happened that day.
And where do you start with your experience with hikers who vanish in a case like this, with the added element that Elaine had?
I mean, look at this image right here. This poor woman, this sucks. You can tell that that's probably a granddaughter or something like that. Or you could look right here in this image here. She is just happy as a clam right here. Look at her. Just, when you hear about stories like this here, just,
had some dementia issues.
Yes. Well, when searching for missing hikers, when we know we have someone with dementia, that is a different level. There are different things that a dementia person will do.
I always look forward to seeing you too, buddy. Dom's a great person. I hope Dom gets better here soon. We're all thinking about you, Dom. We hope you get better. I think that my opinion in the Nancy Guthrie thing is the same as it's always been. I think it's the Nancy Guthrie thing, in my opinion, is a much more sinister type crime than people want to admit. That's just my opinion. I think it definitely is kind of like an SA type thing, and it could be associated maybe with somebody maybe trying to get back at one of the family members for some reason. But my opinion, it's definitely it's got creepy vibes to it. That's just my opinion.
Compared to just a regular day hiker going out. Somebody with dementia will not know sometimes where they are.
I wish I knew where this trail was. I don't think I completely found this trail. It brought me to the Windy Hill Open Space Preserve, but it didn't bring me to the trail. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get there through Google, unfortunately.
And they do tend to go straight. Some of them will lose their peripheral vision, and they do tend to continue on and go straight on their path.
One thing, Kathy, that stood out to me as we investigated.
Okay, so this woman here is maybe talking to, maybe she just kind of wandered off. And that's possible. It's possible that somebody, who has Alzheimer's already, because it says that, hold on here. The unthinkable happened when her partner and friend said Elaine ran ahead of the group close to a picnic area. So it's possible that maybe she ran ahead and just had an episode where she just kind of kept going and then got disorientated and just kept going and just, but you would have thought that dogs would have been able to find her scent. That's strange.
Investigated this story was something that that her friend Lee brought up in the piece. She had walked ahead and was on her way to the picnic area. But if she had fallen, she was wearing a red jacket. Why didn't we see her, or when we yelled for her, hear from her? And with the extensive searches in the days and weeks that followed, there was no sign. She said she simply vanished into thin air. It's hard to make sense of that.
I totally understand that it is hard to make sense of it, but of all the cases that we've had that include dementia or Alzheimer's, it's the same situation. They're there and then they're not there. And in Elaine's situation.
So the little girl's name was Sharon Granitz. Granites. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Out of respect for the family and culture, she is now known as Kaminjai Little Baby. The Aboriginals don't mention the names of their deceased or show pics. Okay. That kind of sucks. I'll have to look into that too. I don't think that's the same one that I was talking about. It might be. All right, let's see here. Dee Dee said something to Cult of Owl. Yes. Okay, my pills are kicking in. Everyone have a great night. We hope you sleep, buddy. That's right. Sorry. I didn't mean, I'm good at putting people to sleep. Trust me. Always good to see everybody though. Just let us know what's going on, Tom.
And she was wearing a red jacket. So you're absolutely right. She should have been able to be seen from there. But if you remember what Kit had said, she was running ahead of them. And so, in that situation, she could have been running as she normally did, running ahead. And then she could have gotten scared, like I'm running from something.
Why would somebody 79 be running? That doesn't make any sense. Why was she running? Because it says that here too. It says the unthinkable. Her partner and friend said Elaine ran ahead of the group. Why was she running? That doesn't make any sense. Does that make sense? Why was she running? Why would a 79-year-old person be running?
That's what happens with dementia people. So she could have been like all of a sudden really afraid, and she could have been running really fast and gotten away way further than some people may.
How fast can a 79-year-old run? I mean, does that make any sense to you? Why does that not make sense to me? Why would a 79-year-old, for one, be running on a trail? And how fast could it, I mean, I'm not trying to knock 79-year-old people, but I mean, how fast can she actually really run? I mean, it's possible, but she couldn't have gotten far. I don't know. To me, that doesn't make sense.
Think. And in situations, as in this story, she could have hid because she was scared. She'd forgotten where she was, or she was out for a day celebrating Kit's birthday.
Right. And so while it might seem one thing is the case, a far different scenario could.
I mean, trust me. I mean, I'm not a hiker at this point in my age, but if I'm running on a trail like that, I'm not getting far. I'm only 58, so 79 with Alzheimer's, I'm not running that fast, man. Not on a trail. I mean, we've been up here, right? So the terrain here is, I mean, not running terrain. You don't run unless you're, in good shape. And I don't know, the running thing to me doesn't make, I don't know what they're doing. Critter does have a channel, I think. Not breaking any speed records, no. Does Just Shailene have a channel? Like I said, if Southern Gal was here, she'd probably tell people I'm throwing wrenches at them. But the reason why they do it fast, if you want a wrench, let me know. I don't have a problem promoting other people's channels. So let me know if you want to wrench. That way you can throw your chats in here. And it's okay if you don't want one either, too. So there we go. The whole running thing to me doesn't make any sense.
Would have taken place. There is one theory that gets floated. Oftentimes, was she taken because they haven't found any evidence of her whereabouts in that area? It sounds as though that has been ruled out, but how do you handle those types of theories in your work?
Well, we don't let them bother us at all. We know that Elaine is there. We know that, even in regular hiking situations, that a person may never be found because they did something illogical. When we search, we're searching for logic with our logic. But search and rescue and all the people that came out there, they also know, what does a dementia person do? What are some of their things they do? And when I had gone out to there, I could see where search and rescue had put down like the grass. You can see where they were, and they were all 101 places where you might find a missing dementia hiker.
What did you notice about the terrain? It stands out.
I do know that, I made Boston Christian's here. It's good to see Boston Christian. Where is she? Boston Christian's right there. Okay. It's always good to see Boston Christian. If you pass out again, JP, good to see you. JP's got a great channel too. I think he's got a great channel still. JP music's awesome. A great musician, great guy. But if you pass out again, have a good week. Drowsy. He's dealing with teeth pain, I think. What was I just saying? I do know from experience, though, years ago, I used to do a lot of mountain hiking here. You can get lost in the mountains pretty quickly. It doesn't take very long at all. Even if you do know where you are, even if you're really good, there's people that get trapped up here in the mountains all the time. And these days here, they don't go and try to get them. If you're going to risk your life to go hiking in the mountains, especially in the months where they kind of deem the mountains to be off limits. If you go out there hiking and you get lost, nobody's coming to get you, because if you're the dumbass to go out there in that time, then you're on your own. But I do know that it doesn't take much to get disorientated in mountains and just get lost. I mean, especially for somebody who's that old, that, Alzheimer stuff. So that is possible. When my mom was 79, she could still haul ass and catch a chicken. Yeah. I mean, you can do that for sure. But I also think people don't realize how difficult it is to navigate through these types of, even she was probably an avid hiker. So, but even still, I definitely think they're onto something. I don't think she was kidnapped. I just don't.
Out to me that it was an easy hiking trail, but there were big drop-offs.
Yes, there are big drop-offs there. And what was interesting about those drop-offs is that I really feel that if you took like a beach ball, a very colorful beach ball, and you threw it down
the mountain, they're on top of a mountain. There's this isn't I don't know what the actual, I guess I could probably figure it out. The actual height of where she's at. Windy Hill Open Space Preserve is a regional park located to San Mateo County, California. I guess I can I don't have to take you guys with me here. It's comprises an important 1,132 acre stretch of conservation land, the Peninsula Range, Santa Cruz. So this is the part of the Santa Cruz Mountains. This is way up. This is coordinates. I got the coordinates. I don't have the actual. It's up there. We could do a picture gallery if you want. But anyways, let's go back to this here. Whoops.
in there, that it would get lost. It was a lot of dense coverage on the ground, I think because it's close to the ocean and that type of terrain. And so it was very thick, and I can see where search and rescue was down in there and searching that area. But I think on our end, we think that, because she was running, I think she ran.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's not something where she just kind of once you get off the beaten path, people forget she's got Alzheimer's, so she might not know, have all of her wits about her. Once you get up there and get off the beaten track, it's pretty much gone. You're a goner. Got to go back. See you all later. Hey, it's always good to see you, Critter Mama. Thank you so much. Critter Mama's got a channel too. Critter Mama's an amazing person. Thank you so much for coming in. It's always good to see you. A dingo? It could be a dingo. Always good to see Critter Mama in here. All right, so let's keep going on this here.
And she ran far, and at some point maybe had hidden. And then after people left, it's very possible she could have come out and went in the absolute opposite direction, and she could be 10 miles away.
You would think, though, that dogs would have been able to find the scent, though. That's the only thing that I'm kind of... dogs are pretty good, but you never know.
In some of our cases with dementia people, one recently in Idaho, she was 17 miles away from her car.
Wow.
That's quite a ways.
So in so many missing...
Thank you, Mustang, for putting that Critter Mamas in there. Have a great week, Critter Mama. Like I said, it's always good to see you.
In cases, Kathy, that we cover, the families want closure. As Kit said, I wish I could have said goodbye, and they just want to know what happened.
I mean, it's sad. It's still sad. It's not an easy situation, regardless. Families want answers. It just sucks.
How often do you even years later, find evidence of what happened in some of these hiking cases?
When we search for missing hikers, we're search and recovery. So we do come in after search and rescue has done what they do. And unfortunately, once they're called off, then
I've always said in cases like this, what they should do, because I'm a big, huge, obviously owl enthusiast and bird enthusiast, but they have hawk handlers and falconists that can kind of train falcons and hawks to kind of go and do their own kind of investigations. And it wouldn't be too crazy to put a camera or on one of these birds and stuff and try to find, because if anybody's going to find a body quick, it's probably going to be a hawk or something like that. So I'm sure that they could train or get a falconer up there to kind of locate people like this here, because they might have a better overall view than just a dog, because a dog is just kind of walking on the ground, but a bird, they're going to go to where the smell is, and they have a better overall topical view of. It's kind of like a drone, just with wings. So I would. I mean, it's something to think about.
where does the family go? What do they do? In Kit's situation, she reached out to us. She got an investigator. She did everything right. And so we do continue to search for them. We use the Caltopo system where we track.
Mustang, Paula, and you guys are all the best for putting all these chats in here. There's Leslie and Billy's chat right there. And she just put in there Critter Mama's chat. So yeah, love it. You guys are awesome.
Track everybody, and then we come in.
Look at these friends. I mean, this sucks. This is just terrible. Look at these people having so much fun. It just stuff like this here. You never want to see this stuff happen.
We look at a new area and we'll go into that particular area next. And we just keep doing that.
Look at this, having the time of their life. Look at this. Very sad.
See if we can find the person.
And do those searches continue? Are there more planned?
Oh, yes. Yes. We have probably 5 cases we're working on right now. The weather moves us around. If it's too cold or too hot, we're at a different area. But we continue to search for them, for the families. That's why we do this.
And in Kit's case as well? Or excuse me, in Elaine's case?
Yeah, in Elaine's case, I feel like they did what they could on that case with search and rescue, and there's still some plans to go out there. We do look at maps and look at different situations. This is a difficult case. She's out there. She was not kidnapped, and she is out there. There's so many cases where dementia people are just never.
It's just so sad. It's just, terrible. Don't ever get old.
We're found. It's very unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. Kathy, what is your advice to hikers, whether they are avid hikers or new or moderate hikers, when they go out into?
I'm assuming, it's just me. I'm assuming since they said Elaine lived a full active life to 2, so her longtime partner said despite a recent Alzheimer's, so I'm assuming they're partners and friends. So I don't know what that means, but none of my business. But I'm assuming that they're, partners. When you get that old, who cares?
Rain, the precautions that all of us should take when we're out in the wilderness.
Well, I will say that with a dementia person, there is a different level to that, and that families may not be aware of. So if you
does just Jaylene have a channel too? Thank you, Jaylene, for subbing to those people. We're all old. Good to see Boz and Christian in here too. Good to see everybody in here. I gotta get going. I got stuff to do here. This taking too much time. I apologize. Hold on a second here.
We're just, if your loved one was even just early signs of dementia, you still should have that buddy system for that, and not.
Okay, so this is pretty good advice when you're hiking. For one thing, like make sure you know what the hell you're doing, and it's check weather conditions. Obviously, share your route, return time. Don't go with somebody who's going to kill you. I'm just kidding. Pack essential gear, research the trail. Yeah, watch out for bears.
Let that person out of your sight. Use GPS devices, location devices, things like that to keep that person in your sight. If that person gets out of your sight, it's very important that you call 911 immediately. They would rather be en route and you find the person.
Okay, so there's Jaylene's channel there. Thank you, Mustang, for that. Paula's going to be getting out of here. Thank you, Jaylene, for that. Let's see here. I love you guys, but I need to go to bed. Okay, Paula's an amazing human being. She's just great. She's been with me through thick and thin here. She's just an amazing freaking human being. She does great reviews. She's going to be doing she did do the new Michael review, but go check out Paula, because Paula's amazing. And Gretchen too. Gretchen has her GoFundMe here somewhere. She's been holed up in a hotel for 2 months from tornado damage, so she's got a GoFundMe page. All right, so here's this.
Then have to spend, like in this case, years trying to find the person with all those resources. So call 911 right away. As far as the
have a good night, Leslie and Billy. Thank you so much for coming in. Couple more seconds on this, and then I want to get to. I'm obviously not going to be able to cover everything I wanted to cover tonight because I'm dilly-dallying here, taking too much time.
A normal hiker, the day hiker is the one most unprepared, and so we try to focus in on the day hikers, and that is, check your weather. And I lost that screen that you had up there, but
that's okay. Check your weather, share your route and your time.
Yes. Yeah, share your route and return time with a loved one. So if you don't return, they can call 911. Pack essential gear. It's called the 10 essentials that the audience can look up. Research a trail, know a little bit about it. Are you fit enough to do that trail? And definitely leave enough daylight and time. Leave early. I always leave early on the trail. So if something does happen, that gives search and rescue enough daylight.
See, in my if I was going to go hike somewhere like that, I'm a night owl and I work nights. I'm up nights. I'd rather go hiking a trail at night than during the day. That's just me.
Like to find me and locate me. So
I'm much better at night. Like I don't need any freaking lights, nothing. If I'm going to go hike a trail, I'd rather do it at night. That way there's nobody else around. I just work better at night. Always have.
There are a lot of things that you can do to help in your own rescue if you need it, if something happens, to participate in your own rescue.
Good advice. It can really quickly be easy to get disoriented when you're out in the wilderness, especially if you're on a trail.
Especially when you're 79 and you have a history of having some sort of, Alzheimer's and stuff like that. I'm not saying that that's what happened to her, but if I had to guess, if I had to put money on it, that's probably what I would. All right. So one more thing I want to cover, then obviously I'm going to have to get the hell out of here. Sorry for kind of, I'll keep an eye on this though. This came out, May 1st. So a couple days ago. So I'll keep an eye on that. So let's get out of this. I do want to cover, hold on one second here, because I wanted to, and I may do more on this case next week here. So hold on. Let me, yeah, it's very scary. Whatever you do, don't get old. All right, so this is the case of this is Melissa Okay, so this is the case of Melissa Besson, and somebody had mentioned this in the chat a couple days ago, and this is coming out of Wisconsin here. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, Lac du Flambeau or whatever. That's French, I think. So this is the Tribal Police Department, family and friends continue the search now going on 6 months for this missing 37-year-old Melissa Besson back in July. Besson was reported, am I saying that right? Probably not, was reported missing on March 23rd of 2000. So this was updated the 25th. Let's play this first. Hold on a second. So she's described as Native American, 5'7", medium build, brown hair and eyes. Here we go.
At Quality Homes, we believe that buying a home should be easy and affordable with
There's a
expert
commercial.
customer service and a wide variety of stunning manufactured and mobile homes to choose from. That's why we offer only the highest quality homes built by Wisconsin Homes and Cavco Homes Dorchester. Right now, new manufactured homes are.
All right, Chad, thank you. It's a grim milestone in the search for a missing Lac du Flambeau woman today. Today marks 6 months. Melissa Beeson was last seen.
So it's Melissa Beeson, missing 6 months, last seen near boat landing in Kibaniki Lake. I have to copy and paste that. Lake and City Highway D. Walked and hiked south on Highway D. Vehicle stopped, refused to give Beeson a ride.
That day, 3 people said they gave her a ride and dropped her off at a boat landing northeast of Lac du Flambeau. Investigators say Beeson got out and began walking south on County Highway D before attempting to get into another vehicle. However, that person told police Beeson seemed agitated and refused to give her a ride. Search efforts using canines and drones soon began, but authorities have yet to locate her. Beeson is Native American, 5'7", with a medium build and brown hair and eyes. She also has numerous tattoos on her neck, arms, and legs. A $25,000 reward is being offered by police for anyone with information leading to her return. If you have any information, please call Tribal Police or the Vilas County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, so
Do you have old gold? How about broken jewelry or pieces you no longer wear?
All right, so before my phone dies and my eyes close, have a great night. Thanks, Dee Dee. It helps for Wednesday's visit. Have a great week. JP, always good to see you here. So I'll have to continue that into next week because there's really not a lot of information that I'm finding here about this here, probably because she's indigenous here, but I will try to cover this next week here because I definitely want to do this here. But I did want to play one more thing before I get out of here. Hold on a second here. This is a case we've covered numerous times too, and I wanted to get, because this is important here for me to kind of check off the list here. Cleveland attorney accused of unaliving Eliza Sherman. Remember her? He's now facing civil lawsuit. So this guy here, this Cleveland attorney, was her attorney for her divorce, and he's being accused of actually unaliving her. Remember, we watched the video of the person walking. So they're bringing a civil lawsuit against this guy too now. And I don't know if you guys know about the Eliza Sherman case, but it's pretty crazy because this was her attorney.
Accused of murdering his own client is now facing a civil lawsuit. Thanks for joining us first at 4. I'm Nicole Versansky. Brian is off today. Tonight, her family says justice has been 13 years in the making. Brittany Weir joins us live in the newsroom with more.
Remember this case? We covered this, I don't know, 3 or 4 different times on 3 or 4 different lives. And we really kind of broke down the video of the person walking through that square, that district there where he was. She was supposed to meet him there. Remember?
Brittany.
Yes, Nicole, a 61-page lawsuit was filed yesterday, raising serious questions about what a prominent Cleveland law firm knew and when they knew it in connection with the murder of one of their own clients, Eliza Sherman. The Sherman family, like you said, has waited more than 13 years for answers, and now they're taking their fight to civil court.
Brad Moore stands before this court, charged with the kidnapping and murder.
This is a thing of the future, though. If you're not getting anywhere with the police, and if you're not getting anywhere with law enforcement and prosecution in the murder case, you go through this route, the civil case, and then you can take the civil case to the prosecutor and say, "Here you go. We have a conviction here in the civil case, so we might be able to get something in the actual case." But in this case here, I think it's more of a fuck you to the attorney's office here.
Murder of our mother, his own client, a woman who trusted him, a woman who he was duty bound to protect and advocate for. Instead, he allegedly betrayed that trust in the most horrifying way imaginable.
Those words from Eliza Sherman's daughter, Jennifer, spoken at Gregory Moore's arraignment last May. Now, more than a year later, the Sherman family is taking their fight to civil court. A 61-page lawsuit filed in Cuyahoga County claims Moore, Eliza Sherman's own divorce attorney, lured her to her death. Investigators say Moore texted Sherman on March 24th, 2013.
Remember her? We covered her. The last time we covered her, I think, was last year. At some point, we went heavily into the actual video.
Asking her to meet him at the Stafford Law offices at Erie View Plaza to prepare for her upcoming divorce trial. But Moore never intended to show up. The suit claims that he disconnected his cell phone from the Verizon network to hide his location while using a firm-issued mobile hotspot to keep texting her, making it appear that he was inside waiting. As Sherman stood outside in the cold, someone approached her.
Remember this? We went through this whole. That's him right there, actually. This whole, and his camera right there.
Someone approached her from behind, chased her to a neighboring building, and stabbed her more than 10 times. She died from her injuries. The lawsuit also claims Stafford Law knew that Moore had previously called in bomb threats to courthouses using firm-issued phones and did nothing. The morning after the murder, the suit says someone at the firm tried to cancel that same mobile hotspot and deleted a voicemail Sherman left on the office phone system the night she was killed.
If a person is capable of such calculated violence against someone he had a professional obligation to defend, one must ask, what else is he capable of?
Moore was indicted on aggravated murder and kidnapping charges last year.
And this came out, this article came out on the 1st. So we'll try to cover this case too here, because I've been covering this case for a while as well. And I want to try to get back into the Missy Beavers case too at some point.
The civil suit seeks more than $25,000 in damages. We reached out to Gregory Moore and Stafford Law for a comment, but have not yet heard back. And we also reached out to Jennifer Sherman and her attorneys. They told us they did not have a comment at this time. As for Greg.
Yeah, it's sad. You can't make this shit up. It's her attorney that was, on her side through the whole thing. And he's being accused of actually unaliving her. It's a crazy world, bro. It's just weird.
Gregory Moore's criminal case that is expected to go to trial in fall. In the newsroom, Brittany Weir, 19 News.
So that case, they're hoping that goes to trial in the fall, but good luck with that. That's probably not going to. All right, so let's get out of this here. We'll go back and we'll get out of here. Let's see here. I want to thank everybody for coming in. You guys are all awesome. I appreciate everybody here in the channel, everybody here in the chat, everybody that shows up early Sunday morning to listen to my bullshit. You guys are all amazing. I appreciate all your support. Let's see here. Mustang, you're awesome. Thank you for everything you do in the chat. I hope you're well. Boston Christian, thank you so much. I'm going to get out of here soon. Just going to call off everybody here. Mustang, thank you so much for everything you do on the channel. You're awesome. Dewey Ox, thank you so much for coming in. It's always good to see you here. Hope you're well. I'm going to miss people tonight because I'm going to try to get out of here. I've been here 3.5 hours already. My God. Fark you, Gretchen, I hope things go better for you here soon. Again, I'm going to attempt to put your GoFundMe in the description here if I can. Fark you, thank you so much. Leslie and Billy was in here. Thank you so much for coming in. JP's awesome. JP's great. Just Jaylene, thank you so much. I know Dee Dee was in here, so Dee Dee's great. Always good to see Dee Dee. Haven't seen you for a while. I hope you're well. Miranda was in here. I know Miranda was in here. Let's see here. Heather was in here somewhere. I hope Heather's okay. I hope she's still here. Tracy is amazing too. Tracy is just amazing human being, amazing person. Let's see here. I know that Mino Dino was in here. Let's see here. The cats are literally gonna eat me alive here if I don't feed them soon because they're like circling me now at this point. Unindicted Co-Conspirator, thank you so much for coming in. Unindicted Co-Conspirator is awesome. Dom, I hope you feel better. Dom's amazing too. Always good to see Dom in here. Dewey Ox. I think I said Dewey Ox. Not sure. Becky was in here too. I know that Gretchen was in here. Thank you, Gretchen. Thank you. I'm trying to scroll all the way up. Let's see. Nicole Watt was in here. Nicole Watt's amazing. Thank you, Nicole, for coming in. Sorry I didn't get a chance to get to everything I wanted to get to tonight. There's just too many cases. There's too many things going on. It sucks. There's just not enough time. There's a Shay right there. Thank you, Shay, for coming in. Shay's amazing. I hope you're doing well. Hope you do. Everybody have a good week for sure. There's Tracy right there. Thank you, Tracy. Always good to see Tracy in here. But I'm going to get out of here. If I missed anybody, I apologize. But it's if I don't get out of here soon, I'm going to be cat food. You guys are all awesome. I appreciate everything you guys do. You guys are amazing. All the great support. Make sure that you sub up to some of these great creators here in the chat. They're all awesome. If I missed anybody, I apologize in the chat. You guys are all amazing. Also, everybody that watches on the replay, thank you too. I know everybody watches on the replays. Whatever you guys do, don't die. Okay. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you all for your support. Take care. I'll play my outro and get the hell out of here. Thank you, everybody. You guys are great. Take care. See you next week.